any protective gear either. Because they were just, wanted to show our enemies that we're going to live on and we're going to be just fine and we're not going to take it.
So they didn't yell death to Tribeca. It was death to America, right? So what you have here are these first responders and those that were at the site and rallied to the site. These are effectively battle wounded.
Yeah.
And I think Stewart's statement is particularly powerful because I think about the VA scandal and the lack of keeping our promise to veterans of wars, military veterans. And now layer in this where these families are struggling to ensure that Congress keeps its promise through the Victims' Compensation Fund and its
For the next
reauthorization.
Yeah, they want funding for the next 70 years.
And so and then you ask yourself, what kind of country are we if we don't take care of our battle wounded? Because this was a terrorist attack that happened to occur in New York, and those police officers, paramedics, firefighters, and all the associated personnel became soldiers. So what kind of country are we when we don't take care of our battle wounded?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636, typing DA, then a quick question.
And this is, by the way, an extension of the James Zadroga Act that was passed in 2010 to compensate families as the health effects were starting to metastasize and be felt by families who had a family member that responded to that terrorist attack. And he mentioned Ray Pfeiffer. He was a firefighter who died a couple of years ago. He's got a foundation. Zadroga as well. People who died from the deleterious health effects of being on site responding to that terrorist attack.
And it wasn't only respiratory problems, of course, high numbers of cancer and also digestive ailments that started showing up within months of them responding. But I don't know if you saw Luis, I'm just going to cry, Alvarez up there, who was, who was there instead of getting his cancer treatments.
You made me come down here the day before my 69th round of chemo. And I'm going to make sure that you never forget to take care of the 9/11 responders.
Dr. Jacqueline Moline, who's the chair of Occupational Medicine, Epidemiology, and Prevention at Hofstra School of Medicine, testified before the subcommittee that more than 11,000 types of cancer have been reported since the attacks on 9/11.
11,000?
Ranging from glioblastoma, brain cancer,
Yeah.
to debilitating lung cancers.
And this is the way we treat them. It's so sad.
It just
doesn't have to be this way.
And Stewart's close. He did it well. I mean, he's a professional communicator. But the thing about Stewart is he has credibility with those families. He didn't just show up that day to be their spokesman. There's clearly a long-standing relationship between him and the families that were there.
He calls Lewis Louie. I mean, he was started with them from the beginning, Dan.
So even though there's going to be much that I disagree with Jon Stewart on, this is a moment where he's absolutely right. And we should say somebody's right when they're right.
They did their jobs with courage, grace, tenacity, humility. 18 years later, do yours. Thank you.
Ed in Oak Brook here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what? That was a very moving thing that he did, and what those firemen and first responders, all of them, even the citizens that joined, was unbelievable. But you know what? Last week we were talking about Chernobyl and how the government lied and so forth. Well, how is that different from what our government is doing with this? You never hear any of this story. Yeah, there was little beeps in the media, somebody had cancer, blah, blah, blah. But no one knew the extent of any of this until this guy started talking. So comparing us to Russia, yeah, I think you can do it because they did the same thing in Chernobyl, and they're doing the same thing over here over and over and over again. And I feel for all of those firemen and their families. It's just outrageous, and God help them.
Thanks, Ed.
You know what? He brought up Chernobyl, and that's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching that yesterday. How are we any different than that communist country?
Well, we're not covering up anything that happened. There's legislation that's been passed. There's an act that they're petitioning be extended and fully funded. We're not pretending that these events didn't happen, and we're not pretending that the health effects resulting from that afflict those who responded. We're not pretending it didn't happen. It's a dereliction of duty issue with respect to funding, such that you don't require these families to have to pilgrimage down to D.C. and sit before a half-filled subcommittee panel and ask for what they should be proactively provided. So no, not exactly. But it's not to defend Congress here, but just some proportionality. Patrick on the Northwest side.
Hi, I'm a retired firefighter. I had cancer at some point in my career. I believe I got it from the job. What most people don't realize is the number one cause of cancer in firefighters is not through inhalation, but through absorption through the skin. So your pores are open, you got these chemicals all around, your body absorb it. But, not only 9/11, but, even when I turn on the show a lot of time, I hear Sean from Elmwood Park talking about public-funded pensions. That's part of the deal, firemen. We don't complain when we get sick, but we just hope that you guys take care of us when we do. And unfortunately, a lot of times it turns out to be a battle.
All right. Fair enough.
Good luck to
Thanks,
you,
Patrick. Appreciate the call. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Always good talking to you. On a side issue, I heard yesterday that Congress wants a raise, AOC wants more money. Maybe they ought to do their job, and then we'll give them a raise.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
yesterday.
How about they? Thanks for the call, Bob. How about they just do their job and we give them a pay cut anyway?
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're insured by Mag Mutual, you get more than just medical professional liability protection. You get partnership. Mag Mutual is your partner when it comes to safeguarding patients, physicians, and healthcare teams. Everything they do is focused on protecting and supporting you in the practice of medicine, from helping you save money to mitigating your risk. Mag Mutual is your single source for customized service and support. Their promise to protect includes comprehensive insurance solutions for the practice, business, and regulation of medicine, expert guidance, an extensive resource library, and complimentary access to up-to-date and evidence-based clinical decision support resource. Mag Mutual is committed to your success. You can stay focused on your patients knowing Mag Mutual is your partner. Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Dr. Shaw at Flagship Healthcare at 312-888-9248 or by email at info@flagshiphc.com. Visit their website at flagshiphc.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
AM 560. The Answer.
Tweet in response to our discussion about Jon Stewart's statement and funding of the Victims' Compensation Fund for 9/11 families. We will pay for health care for illegal immigrants. AOC is crabbing for a salary increase, but we don't have time or money to support our heroes. Are we really surprised this is the behavior from Congress? I guess maybe we're beyond outrage at this point, but Jon Stewart wasn't, and good for him.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Joe Biden and Donald Trump spar before and in Iowa at 5:38.
I don't like when grandpas fight. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
68 degrees, 5:32. The Senate Intelligence Committee will question Donald Trump Jr. again today. There are reports committee members want to know more about plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Former Daily Show host Jon Stewart pled with lawmakers yesterday to reauthorize a fund that provides health care to 9/11 first responders.
The idea that you can only give them 5 more years of the VCF because you're not quite sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. Well, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. More of these men and women are going to get sick and they are going to die.
A bill before Congress would lock in funding and increase past payments to those sickened by toxins during the cleanup after the 2001 terror attacks. Former Vice President Joe Biden calling President Trump an existential threat to the U.S. while campaigning in Iowa.
I mean, it's bizarre and it's damaging. And so I think he's genuinely a threat to our core values. And he's a threat to our standing in the world.
President Trump also went after Joe Biden in Iowa.
And you see that with Biden, we would never be treated with respect because people don't respect him. Even the people that he's running against, they're saying, where is he? What happened? He makes his stance in Iowa once every 2 weeks, and then he mentions my name 74 times.
The president getting a big bump in his approval ratings in new polling from Quinnipiac University. Virginia's off-year elections later this year, when 140 legislative seats and partisan control of the legislature is up for grabs, may signal what the rest of the country's mood will be in 2020. But a series of surprising primary results last night offering mixed messages on what voters really want. The progressive wing of the Democrat Party in Virginia flexed its muscles in a few races and faltered badly in others. Conservatives, unhappy with moderate Republicans who backed a Medicaid expansion last year, took out one target and whiffed on another. Federal prosecutors plan to ask a judge this morning for more than a year in prison for former Stanford sailing coach who admitted to accepting bribes in the college admissions cheating scandal. John Vandermoor will be the first person sentenced in the case that has ensnared athletic coaches at universities across the country. Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. The bill passed the General Assembly, rammed through by Democrats at the end of May. The bill removes restrictions on both abortions later in pregnancy and criminal penalties for physicians that perform them. A federal judge in Chicago says he's going to dismiss a lawsuit brought by a parks advocacy group trying to stop former President Barack Obama's presidential from being built inside a lakefront park. Today marks the 25th anniversary of the O.J. Simpson murder case. On June 12, 1994, the former NFL star's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman, were brutally stabbed to death outside of her home in an upscale L.A. neighborhood of Brentwood. A KNBC helicopter was live when people started getting close to O.J.'s white Bronco. Remember this soundbite?
All these people know that what is happening. They have to. Some are actually entering the number 1 and number 2 lanes.
They were chasing that white Bronco down the highways in Los Angeles 25 years ago today. Police arrested O.J. Simpson later on June 17th, later acquitted of all charges in that double murder. Rockies smashed the Cubs 10-3 in Denver. White Sox power past the Nationals 7-5. Fire eliminated from the U.S. Open Cup, falling in St. Louis. 5:36, a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
News, opinion, insight.
They broke the deal. They can't do that. So they'll be paying. We don't make the deal.
What happens next happens here.
The special counsel's finding is clear. Case closed.
That's just not a fact. The case is not closed.
These stories and more are changing by the minute. Check in 2, 3, 4 times each day for the latest.
If they do anything, it will be a very bad mistake.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Father's Day sale at Ace. Hurry in and save hundreds on Dad's favorite brands like Milwaukee, DeWalt, Craftsman, Traeger, and Yeti. Plus, Ace has an extensive lineup of Steel outdoor power tools, so you can be sure to find something you'll love. And save time when you buy online and pick up in store. Make this Father's Day one that Dad will always remember, with great gifts from the best brands. All at your local Ace. Offers valid on select items at participating stores through June 17th. See store for details.
At Walgreens, we know that your day doesn't stop for diabetes. So when you've got places to go and people to see, count on Walgreens every day to get expert diabetes advice 24/7. Find all major brands of testing supplies like Walgreens True Metrics in-store and online. And download tools to help you stay on track, like our 5-star mobile app with Pill Reminder. At Walgreens, we are your diabetes go-to. Stop by and talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
5:38 in the AM 560 traffic center and the latest with Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's near north side of the Goose Island area, around Division Street, Hooker Street, there's a report of a possible water rescue going on, so allow room for responders. Right now on the Kennedy inbound, earlier delays downtown have dissipated. The express lanes are open on the inbound side, so it's 20 minutes either way. In the airport, the Burns Circle outbound roadwork is cleared as well. Traffic is a bit tight on westbound 190 from the Kennedy to Manheim. The Eisenhower's okay. The Stevenson has a 2 or 3 minute delay. Ashland to the Rhine. And the Rhine has about a 3 or 4 minute delay coming into downtown. I-57 good. Bishopport inbound. Heavy starting at 111. It's 19 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Tollways are okay at the moment. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, mostly cloudy. Not as warm. Showers and thunderstorms pop up this afternoon across the area with a high of 72. Currently 68. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump, former Vice President Biden, both in Iowa campaigning yesterday.
Go Hawks.
That's sure, yeah.
I love living there.
I liked
during a presidential campaign. I got to meet everybody. Jesse Jackson.
Wow.
George Bush, Barbara Bush, everybody that was running for president. All were vying for our votes, and we're so sweet.
I enjoyed broadcasting one time from the Iowa caucus over a couple of days, and then actually being able to attend a caucus.
Oh, you went to
at a grade school in Des Moines. It was really fun. I think I've told the story before.
No, I want to hear it.
But it's fascinating, the Iowa caucus. It's the exact opposite of an election or a polling place in Cook County. So this middle school I'm at in Des Moines, people milling about, visiting with their neighbors and friends. Everybody sits down in this classroom, and the election judge said, all right, somebody wants to come up and talk for, who was it at the time?
Who were you?
Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
No, that was 12. Yeah, it's 2012. Mitt Romney, somebody wants to come up and talk for Huckabee, somebody come up talk for Santorum, so on and so forth. Ron Paul. Somebody come up and talk for Barack Obama. I mean,
Yeah.
no primary challenge, so wasn't much to talk about. But anyway, okay. Anybody else? Any other circuits? All right. So I'm going to go around the room, pass out these little shards of paper. Just write the name of your
Great.
preferred candidate on the little shard of paper. So you get little pieces of paper, like little shards of paper, like when you used to go to the Dewey Decimal
Right.
Library.
They're little short.
Catalog,
right,
yeah,
'cause
to
we
write down-
caucused in
yeah.
Iowa. I registered to vote at 18 when I turned 18 there, and then we did the same thing, and it was so fascinating.
And then she goes
Loved it.
around with literally a FootJoy golf shoe box, and she said, "Throw your piece of paper in there."
Ours was a basket like you pass out at the offertory.
Yeah,
the
right.
Offertory hymn. That's what we had.
And then she says, "All right, me and this other election judge, we're going to go in the back room and count the little pieces of paper. And if anybody wants to come back there and watch us count the little piece of paper, you're welcome to do it." And nobody did. Not a single person did.
There's a lot of
Why?
trust.
Exactly. Implicit trust, as opposed to Illinois elections, explicit mistrust.
Oh, well, people bring bags of cash back there in Illinois. If anybody could watch them count votes, I mean, it's a whole different world that we live in here.
It really is wild, and it was fun. It was fun to witness that, experience it. But anyway, so before Trump even embarked,
Where did he go? Council Bluffs yesterday?
before he even embarked to Iowa, he had something to say. He had a lot of things to say about Joe Biden. Basically, he's taken every criticism of every politician that he's made over the last 4 years, and he's just applied them all to Biden. It was really quite a tour de force of criticism.
Well, I heard Biden, who's a loser. I mean, look, Joe never got more than 1%, except Obama took him off the trash heap, and now it looks like he's failing. It looks like his friends from the left are going to overtake him pretty soon. But I heard, his whole campaign is to hit Trump. You look at what the Obama administration did in terms of the military, in terms of security, in terms of other nations, in terms of almost everything. Much of it now, fortunately for everybody here, has been overturned. But look, when a man has to mention my name 76 times in a speech, that means he's in trouble. Now, I have to tell you, he's a different guy. He looks different than he used to. He acts different than he used to. He's even slower than he used to be. So I don't know. But when he mentions my name that many times, I guess I should be complimented. No, I'd rather run against, I think, Biden than anybody. I think he's the weakest mentally. And I like running against people that are weak mentally. I think Joe is the weakest up here. The other ones have much more energy. I don't agree with their policies. But I think Joe is a man who I call him 1% Joe. Because until Obama came along, he didn't do very well. But Joe Biden thought that China was not a competitor of ours. Joe Biden is a dummy. Joe Biden thought China was not a competitor.
So that's so I count 1% Joe, loser, weak mentally, low energy, and a dummy. That's a 5-fer.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Joe Biden didn't take it lying down, wasn't sleeping through this. Heard about the comments that President Trump made.
He says, let's make America great again. Let's make America America again.
Sleepy Joe.
I believe that the president is literally an existential threat to America.
Hold the phone.
Yes.
Michael Avenatti.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, not in prison yet. Has a problem with what you just heard from Joe Biden. He's at it again. He's doing it again. Like a Garcia Vega commercial. Make America America again? That's an Avenattiism.
Oh, he didn't file anything, did he?
No,
Does he have a patent on that?
But he posted his tweet from September of last year.
Oh.
We'll fight to make America America again.
Oh, that's right, because he's a big Biden supporter.
I used it throughout the U.S. when I was exploring a run. Are you not exploring it anymore? Don't say that. It's still early.
It's over, Dan.
Including in Iowa at the Wingding last year. A supporter of mine even made a video centered on the message. It was my slogan and theme. And Joe Biden,
oh my God,
he's plagiarizing Michael Avenatti now.
He thinks that being tough is great. Well, it's really easy to be tough when someone else absorbs the pain.
have to tell you, though, listen, he is Sleepy Joe. There's no energy. And he's laying pretty much down over the lectern. It looked to me like he absolutely did not want to be there.
He's making personal attacks on Nancy Pelosi, who's there with him.
That's when I went to Normandy.
He embraces dictators like Kim Jong-un, who's a damn murderer and a thug.
Not like our friends, the
Well,
Chinese.
the one thing they
Joe.
agree on, Joe Biden, they shouldn't be president. He quotes Kim Jong-un saying, I agree with Kim. He's right about Biden. I think I'm either low IQ or slow, or I don't know what I am. Slow Joe Biden.
Kind of slow yesterday.
Give me a break. I mean,
Is
it's
there
like out
three
of Alice
people
in
there?
Wonderland. I mean, you
But
know.
that's the thing.
Can somebody send a
Think
laugh track
about
with
it.
him?
So here's the thing. Clap now. It's time to clap. Who said? Oh yeah, Bush said that. But they did a wide shot. He went to 3 different locations, and there weren't a lot of people there. Dan, that's the thing. This is not going to happen. There is no there there. He was the first time he was this laying over the lectern, and then the second time he was kind of hunched over and just really. I mean, he is low energy. It's weird.
312-642-5600 Turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA Turnkey.pro text line. Should we allow President Trump to do with the nickname we're using on this show what Joe Biden is doing to Avenatti's sloganeering and use Creep Show Joe? Or are you satisfied with any or all of the above? 1% Joe, loser, weak mentally, low energy, dummy. Oh, and I guess you could add low IQ. That's
Low
true. He has
IQ.
a low IQ before. That's sort of that's synonymous with dummy. But okay. Also, Joe Biden, while he was in Ottumwa yesterday, remember how he was tasked by President Obama to cure cancer?
Oh yeah, I remember. We would make fun of it here on the not make fun of it. I mean, it's a daunting task to try and find a cure for cancer, and he was up for the challenge. It was honored that the president gave him that responsibility. So how's it going?
Yeah, it's a daunting task for medical researchers.
Well, them too. Yeah, it's a big business.
I don't think Joe Biden is equal to the task, but he wants you to know he hasn't forgot. He said, I promise you if I'm elected, you're going to see the single most important thing that changes America. We're going to cure cancer. That's his moonshot statement. I mean, the things these guys say and gals, remarkable, isn't
really
it?
said that.
We're going to cure cancer.
When I'm president, we're going to cure cancer. Now that is a campaign promise unlike anything I've ever heard.
But, don't tell me these are utopian charlatans. No, of course not. Mike in Melrose Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was listening to some of the stuff that he was saying yesterday, and one of them was about taking task with making America great again. And he says, I'll just settle for making America again.
Right.
You'll settle? Who wants a president that's going to settle? Didn't we have 8 years of that?
Well, okay, very good. Thanks for the
I'm
call,
telling
Mike.
you, his heart is not in it. He is there because the Democratic Party said you have to do this for your country. Come on, Joe, you've got to run. And it's not there.
Also, Joe Biden 2019 keeps running into previous iterations of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So he has called for Attorney General Barr to resign, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, in 1995, he said, as you know, as I know you know, but others should know too, I truly enjoyed working with you when you were Attorney General, Biden told Barr. You were one of the best I ever worked with, and there have been a lot of attorneys general since I've been here, and I mean that sincerely. And now Bill Barr is also an existential threat to Western civilization. Okay. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I would prefer a Republican nominee that didn't get himself involved in juvenile ad hominem attacks, maybe talk policy,
Wow.
but
What fun would
that's
that be?
the Republican Party. That's Donald Trump. The Republican Party in this country gets what it deserves when y'all root for him. That's my take, Dan.
Well, I mean, okay, thanks for the call, Tom. I know there's sort of this, we're supposed to default to this position that a name calling is so beneath us. Is it? I mean, is it really? Has anybody taken a little stroll down memory lane of our couple of centuries worth of politics in this country? I mean, the idea that like ad hominem, ridicule, name calling, is something that started in 2016 with Donald Trump is just ridiculous. It's untrue. And I will say again what I've said before. I enjoy ridicule. I think ridicule is necessary in politics, and I think politicians, all of them, every single one, should have exposure to ridicule because it reminds them they are not our betters, and it reminds us that they are not our betters.
Oh, yeah.
The real problem we have is this sort of idea that civility is an altar on which we must all genuflect as a first-order priority, and we elevate a political ruling class in the process. That, to me, is much more concerning than Joe Biden calling Trump an existential threat and all the other names that they call Trump, or Trump calling Joe Biden a dummy, which, by the way, he is.
Well, and I don't remember during when Romney was running against President Obama, was there a lot of name calling then? I mean, it was a pretty boring campaign, but was there?
Sure, there was. Of course there was. I mean, Romney was Romney hated dogs, even though it was Barack Obama who ate them. Remember, because he left his dog
lying on the roof.
Yeah,
because they had diarrhea.
Romney was the Monopoly man. Oh, that's right. Is that a caricature?
Romney was he was rich because he had a 3-story garage.
Yeah, but he was the Monopoly man. Is that an ad hominem caricature of somebody who, through his own diligence, has been successful in life? Of course it is. So is that like higher art ridicule than dummy? Okay, it's ridicule nonetheless.
Nice.
And again, the left, every Republican is Hitler.
Oh, that's right.
To the left, George W. Bush was Hitler. Everybody's Hitler. It's absurd. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call. I like what Amy said about Joe and, he's not there. And I think she had it more correct when she said there's no there. When you have Joe Biden showing up at a place and there's 85 people, imagine you're him. You're looking out at only 85 people. How excited can you really get about your campaign? A leader must have followers. And if he can only get 85 people to show up, you can get more people to show up at Aldi with a coupon giveaway.
Thanks for the call. Well, you get more value. Thanks for the call, Dan. Randy in Sandwich.
If we're going to use Creepshow Joe, I want to make sure I get my credit because I came up with it first.
I've already stolen it and trademarked it. I've already stolen it out from underneath you.
You too.
One thing real quick I wanted to say about the John Daly remarks that he made. If we don't get this right, then in the future, if and when another 9/11 happens, and I hope it doesn't, those first responders will hesitate because we are doing what's wrong to these people that went and did what was right then, and they may pull back and go, I'm not going in there because I saw what happened to those people. I'm not going to let it happen to me.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Randy. I don't know about that. I mean, I think I hear what you're saying with respect to like the whole issue of feeling like the people who are making promises don't really have your back, and does that make you hedge? Sure, it's understandable. But I also think like there's such a among most men and women who are first responders, my sense of it is there's such a commitment to serve.
Yep. And the country, to serve the country and to help people they don't know, strangers.
Well, and to abide your duty, like morally, that I think the last thing they're thinking about in a crisis situation like that is whether somebody's going to have my back for my health care, my pension, or my family, or so forth. And Frank, that's a testament to the character of those individuals, and as Jon Stewart said in his testimony, to the greatness of our nation. That's what those first responders on 9/11 reminded us, why America's so great.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Your loved one really wants to live at home. It becomes difficult when living at home isn't practical any longer. To make the later years comfortable and the transition to other living arrangements as easy as possible, there's Gurney Manor, a premier assisted living community. Residential assisted living at Gurney Manor is very personal, updated, and modern with only 8 total residences. This is a very private facility in a residential neighborhood with 24-hour care, a luxurious living space, and first-class amenities. It's high-level care at a much smaller scale with 1 caregiver to every 4 residents, plus an on-site RN LPN, perfect for residents needing assistance with daily chores that can't be done alone. For a more cost-effective solution than 24-hour home care that includes daily activities and outings, home-cooked meals, housekeeping, and laundry services, choose Gurney Manor for your family member. Learn more at GurneyManor.com. That's GurneyManor.com. Gurney Manor. Quality care in a truly home-like setting.
The end of a committed relationship is among life's most stressful episodes. The time when you must rely on someone who will look after your best interests and those of your children. That's why people turn to the Illinois chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, the leading association of peer-approved family law attorneys. They are the best of the best. Fewer than 150 divorce lawyers in Illinois have passed the Academy's rigorous vetting process, and each has at least a decade's experience in family law. A family separation can take many different paths. You need the most qualified guide you can find, who will secure the legal groundwork in a time of emotional upheaval. Look first to the Illinois chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. They not only know the law, they help write the law. Visit thefamlaw.org to learn more about the attorney who may be best for you.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 6:06, Governor Jelly Belly signs the infanticide legislation this morning at 10 o'clock. We'll discuss.
And later, President Trump, compliments Kim Jong-un. Why? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A judge tosses a lawsuit trying to stop the Obama Center in Jackson Park. Funeral arrangements are set for a slain Arlington Heights couple, and the Illinois DNR warning of blue-green algae. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
His father calls it a witch hunt. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but Donald Trump Jr. has to answer more questions today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president's eldest son is going behind closed doors with the Senate Intelligence Committee after he was subpoenaed by the panel's Republican chairman, Richard Burr. Trump Jr. agreed to appear after the committee promised the interview would be limited in scope and duration. Lawmakers reportedly want to ask about plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow and about a meeting with a Russian lawyer at Trump Tower in New York in the summer of 2016. Trump Jr. provided hours of testimony to the committee in 2017. Dave?
Well, Rachel, House Democrats took a step toward taking the Trump administration to court.
He has claimed absolute immunity to prevent witnesses from showing up. He has loosely and inappropriately invoked executive privilege.
The House Judiciary Committee is now empowered to take former White House counsel Don McGahn and Attorney General William Barr to court to enforce subpoenas related to the special counsel's Russia investigation. Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler explaining what happens next after a straight party line vote in the House. made it easier for committees to file lawsuits.
Fox's Jared Halper in the White House, and Republicans say it's time to move on, claiming there was no Russia collusion, no obstruction of justice charge in the Mueller report. Now, the president was in Iowa last night.
We will keep on winning. We're going to win for you. We're going to win again in 2020. Going to win for you.
He also again called the Democratic frontrunner Sleepy Joe Biden. Earlier, he said he wanted to run against Biden, saying he's mentally weak. Now, the former vice president, who is the leading in the polls in the 2020 Democratic race, was also campaigning in Iowa and firing back.
What's going on here? This is really dangerous stuff, and it's not easy. He's a threat, in my view, a threat to our core values.
This is Fox News.
Cloudy and 68 degrees at 6:02 AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. The bill passed the General Assembly at the end of May. An off-duty Chicago police officer is facing charges in a crash that killed a woman sitting inside a Southside restaurant over the weekend. Is out on bond. Terrence Finley bonded out of Cook County Jail last night after being charged with reckless homicide and aggravated DUI. Federal judge in Chicago says he'll dismiss a lawsuit brought by a parks advocacy group that is trying to stop the former President Barack Obama Presidential Center from being built in a lakefront park. But that is not the final word. An attorney for the parks organization says they plan an appeal. Funeral arrangements are set for a suburban Arlington Heights couple who authorities say was stabbed to death by their daughter over the weekend. Visitation for Ann and David Martin scheduled Friday at the Lautenberg and Oler Funeral Home in Arlington Heights. A Blue Island hospital is asking an oversight board to allow it to cease operations as the hospital searches for a new owner. Metro South Medical Center has been trying to find a new buyer for the past 2 years. The hospital is in talks with several organizations to continue operating as a freestanding emergency department and outpatient medical clinic. Shared electric scooters are set to be available in Chicago as soon as this upcoming Saturday, although that is a major concern for many residents already speaking out. Locals will be able to rent scooters for use in a 50-square-mile zone that excludes the Loop and major tourist areas along the lakefront. 10 companies have been chosen to be part of that pilot program, scheduled to last until October 15. Rockies beat the Cubs in Denver 10-3. Wellington Castillo a grand slam, in the White Sox win over the Nationals 7-5. The news a service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a huge trend that leads to a crumbling society.
4 in 10 American children are now born to unmarried mothers, up from about 5%, that's 1 in 20, in 1960. I would say the majority of people under 40 would respond, so what?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Lawn lovers, run with us on the John Deere Z500 Series Z-Track mower. Built to mow better, faster with an Excel Deep Mower Deck. Because whether you're up against the clock or a busy day, this zero-turn gets it done in almost no time at all. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Test drive a Z500 Series Z-Track mower at your John Deere dealer during the Take Your Turn sales event.
What if you had your own personal recruiter to help you find a better job? And they would say, hey, I found a company that likes your profile and may even pay you more. Well, now, ZipRecruiter's technology can do that for you. Just download the free ZipRecruiter job search app, customize your job matches, and its technology does the work. It puts your profile in front of potential employers. And if they like your profile, ZipRecruiter lets you know. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated job search app. So download the free ZipRecruiter app today.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
At Farmers Insurance, we know every windshield collision has a unique sound. Beetle. Bird poop. Drone. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
6:07 and a check on the morning roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's near north side of the Goose Island area, there's a report of a person in the water. Allow room for responders in that area. Kennedy inbound traffic is slow Cumberland to Nagle. It's 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 22. Westbound 190 traffic is heavy from the Kennedy to Tri-State going into O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Manhunt. 33 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is already 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 428. Northbound Tri-State traffic is slow from 95th to the 83rd Street Toll Plaza and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, not as warm. A couple of showers, thunderstorm around, high 72. Clouds and showers tonight, low 52. Cloudy tomorrow morning, sun by afternoon, breezy day. High tomorrow at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
68 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This morning at 10 a.m., Governor Jelly Belly will sign the pro-infanticide legislation passed by the Illinois General Assembly at the Cultural Center in the city.
You know, it's so sad. All the Democratic politicians are going to celebrate and cheer and go, yay, let's kill babies. Woo!
And their handmaidens in the Chicago Press Corps, too. Just all you need to know is the headlines. The headlines tell you everything you need to know about the stilted press coverage of this issue and in general in this state that is so lost. Illinois Senate approves sweeping abortion rights bill. Is that what it is? Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign Reproductive Health Act expanding abortion access Wednesday. And what is pro-life legislation, heartbeat bills? How are they reported? Anti-abortion. Restricting women's right to abortion. Heartbeat bills? That's not a baby's heartbeat. That's a baby's embryonic pulsing. That's the ghoulish euphemism that the New York Times uses to describe a baby's heartbeat. And don't think that all of those leftist press outlets down the line won't pick that up and go with it as well. But I'll tell you what, we talk a lot about how many people are leaving Illinois. The mass exodus from the state, leading the nation in out-migration, right? How about this? Being pro-infanticide and using taxpayer dollars to finance abortions all 9 months of pregnancy. to the point where baby's head can be outside of the mom, and that's when you kill it. Kill the baby. That's what partial birth abortion is.
I know.
Yeah, that's just what it is. I hate to be graphic. I know this is a celebratory atmosphere downtown today. I hate to be the skunk at the garden party, but that's what it is. But here's the thing. In 2018, more than 5,500 women came to Illinois to have an abortion.
How many? Say that number.
5,500. So about 13% of the total abortions committed, and notice the phrase, committed in Illinois. 5,500. So it's bringing people in. We have a burgeoning abortion tourism business, and that's exciting, isn't it? 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA turnkey.pro text line. You know, think about that.
Well,
we're bringing women in from other states to have their abortion, which we'll pay for. But then they're going to stay in a hotel. They're going to have some meals. Maybe they'll go on the Sea Dog. Maybe they'll take in a movie. So it's an economic boon to Illinois, right?
Well, there's the Yale Hotel in Michigan. Owner Shelby O'Brien says she'll offer any woman who needs an abortion free lodging at the Yale Hotel, as well, Dan, is transportation to and from the procedure.
What about a continental breakfast? Is that included?
Or a mimosa, I don't know. I don't. But she's offering this to people from states where their ability to get an abortion has been blocked or soon will be blocked.
The Illinois Right to Life will be having a counter press conference at 10 o'clock, too. So at least they're standing and delivering. It's more than anything resembling a Republican Party can muster on this issue, or frankly any other issue in this state. So good for the Right to Life movement here on the toughest terrain in America, continuing to put in the fight. And by the way, producing results. I mean, you can't stop the political ruling class because of the majority of the electorate in this state being brain dead, at least politically, cognitively, when it comes to public policy. But you can offer women true assistance and care, and that's what pregnancy care centers are doing. And so you have a new Aid for Women Pregnancy Care Center in Flossmoor right next to an abortion mill. You have a new Waterleaf Pregnancy Care Center coming online in Aurora next to a big Planned Parenthood abortion mill. But, I mean, it's funny. Do people care about this? Is this consistent with your values, with Chicago values, with Illinois values? I don't even know what those phrases mean anymore. I don't know whose values are what. We just talk about it generic because, God forbid, we'd actually have to define it specifically. What would that sound like, given what we see in terms of the laws under which we live? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'm asking, do you care? Because, and specifically business owners, because that's what the left does to press the craven politicians, particularly those that are sort of agnostic on the topic, and because they're interested in mainly their pockets and their status as an elected official. So this is Phil Scott, the Republican governor. Yeah, he's a Republican in Vermont, signing unlimited, unregulated abortion on demand legislation in Vermont. No restrictions on abortion in the state. The bill will ensure that abortion on demand remains legal in Vermont through all 9 months of pregnancy. And the executive director of Vermont Right to Life, on Phil Scott signing this bill, his signature signals his preference for protecting the business of abortion over life-affirming options in Vermont statute. It's not just the business of abortion, it's the businesses who support abortion. And so this story from Breitbart this week, the top execs of 180 companies, abortion necessary to be successful in business. A letter posted on a website launched by the pro-aborts, don't ban equality. Restricting access to comprehensive reproductive care, a euphemism like embryonic pulsing. Embryonic pulsing, euphemism for a heartbeat. Comprehensive reproductive care, a euphemism for killing children. So you have this statement, and among the signatories, Slack Technologies, Bloomberg, MAC Cosmetics, Yelp, Ben & Jerry's, of course, Atlantic Records. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, signed the letter for his company. Jack Dorsey, Twitter, where pro-life content has been shadow banned and banned outright. Gee, Jack. Yeah, our company leans left.
Just a tad.
It's a leaner.
Just a little.
We're leaner. Okay, sure. But the problem that the pro-life movement has had, as successful as it's been, particularly with these conversion stories like you've heard on our show, Dr. Anthony Levatino, former medical doctors who performed abortions, who had, their Saul of Tarsus moment and no longer do. So that's the source of a lot of the progress. Obviously, think about the Gosnell movie. Think about Unplanned movie, the Abby Johnson story.
I still haven't seen Unplanned. Everybody in my family saw it, though.
Very good.
Said I have to see it.
Very good.
The Gosnell movie. It's people should, any politician should be forced to see that movie.
But here's where the pro-life movement hasn't been as successful as it could be. Enlisting business leaders the way the left enlists and intimidates even high-powered business leaders. Hey, if you don't support men in the girls' bathroom, then we're not bringing our films to North Carolina. We're not having NCAA tournament games in North Carolina. We're not going to expand our business. Same thing in Georgia.
Georgia's going to shut down. I mean, Netflix,
over the heartbeat
Disney,
bill.
Everybody wants to. They're threatening to pull out, but they're not going to do it.
And so, and I know there are men and women of faith and just common sense and decency who run all sorts of businesses who maybe this is not an important issue to them. Maybe they're somewhat middled on the issue. But that's not the question right now. The question is, do you support infanticide? Do you support legalized infanticide?
Well,
and can you muster the courage to speak on behalf of your business and be counted so that people, the outside world, understands? I'll tell you what, when it comes to, just everything that we focus on, which is the bottom line, how much money is going where, that you have business leaders. That's a missing part of the pro-life movement. Business leaders willing to speak out on behalf of life, or at minimum in opposition to infanticide, to suggest that contrary to these execs that sign this, abortion is necessary to be successful in business, you could have some people say, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. What does that have to do with business? Killing people is necessary to be successful in business?
Because
They
the
sound
left,
like Montgomery Burns.
The left is militant, and if somebody doesn't agree with them, they're willing to try to do anything they can to shut down that business. I think that's why pro-life business owners don't come up and speak, because they could picket their place. They could start a solidarity against them. And look what happened to the bakery near Oberlin College. Well, they were victorious in their decision, that was just rendered by the jury,
Right.
$11 million. But they almost lost their bakery that they've had in their family for 5 generations.
Right. I know. At some point, I guess people have to make decisions as to whether or not they want to live on their knees or die standing up, or risk death standing up. By the way, since this was a hot topic when I debated this functionary Madigan Toady, slimy property tax appeals attorney with his daddy from the Northwest Side there, Bobby Martwick.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a long time here. We took live birth abortions in this state. Something Martwick said didn't exist. Well, Jill Stanek, who's one of the heroines of the pro-life movement, became so when she, as a nurse at Christ Hospital, speaking of standing up, Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn, blew the whistle on precisely that happening. Children who survived an abortion put in a broom closet and left to die.
What year did that happen?
This is the beginning of the century. From the Chicago Sun-Times, March 31, 2001. A spokesman for Christ Hospital's parent, Advocate Health, said it provides compassionate care for its patients and estimated that between 10% and 20% of fetuses with genetic defects that are aborted survive for short periods outside the womb. Advocate's policy allows for termination of pregnancy in those rare cases where there are very severe and complex anomalies in the fetus that wouldn't allow life to be sustained after birth. Well, it turns out they're wrong a lot on that score. But just to repeat, 2001, Sun-Times, on the issue. Advocate Healthcare, Parent for Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn. Compassionate care provides for patients. The compassionate care provides for its patients includes 1 in 10 to 2 in 10 fetuses that are aborted with genetic defects survive for short periods outside of the womb. That's not ghoulish. I mean, I'll ask again, because we know the vocal minority that is disproportionately higher income and godless, generally, they kneel before Planned Parenthood clinics like a church. Abortion to them is a sacrament. Planned Parenthood can traffic in baby body parts and be exposed as doing so, and their response is to have fundraisers for Planned Parenthood. We Republicans don't have the courage, when they're in the majority, to stop providing $500 million in taxpayer funding at the national level to Planned Parenthood. Because you don't want to offend Ariana Grande. Did you see that? Her June 8th sold-out Atlanta concert, she's donating $300,000 to Planned Parenthood in Georgia, direct response to the heartbeat bill. Monty and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Strangely silent, and the ones I wonder the most about are Southside Baptists, Southside Chicago Catholics, including Father Flager. Where are they? Is being Democrat and voting Democrat really their God, as opposed to speaking up about infanticide? And that's all I have to say.
Thanks for the call, Monty. And also, what about the racist nature of it? I raised this issue with that Box of Rocks Martwick as well. We've raised it here before. 12% of the population is black. 35% of the abortions, black children. Nearly 80% of Planned Parenthood clinics located in majority and minority neighborhoods. Why do you think that is? Just a unusual coincidence? Or is there something else afoot? You know, we don't want those people to have more children. Isn't that right? You know, your champagne socialists.
They can't afford those children. They don't need to have a fifth child without a father in the household. I've heard it all. I have.
Those compassionate
Who's going to
leftists.
pay for it?
Compassionate leftists. What about it? Oh, and then there's this. Speaking of praying, Preying, the International Planned Parenthood Federation hired prostitutes for staff, donors, and guests at official functions.
What?
Daily Mail breaks the story in May. It barely gotten any press coverage, thanks to the Washington Examiner for picking it up. The UK's Department of International Development came under fire in January for donating £132 million of aid money to Planned Parenthood International during investigations of sexual misconduct. Internal documents related to the case reveal repeated claims of sexual harassment, bullying, abusive conduct, and intimidation of whistleblowers. For example, the transmission of a pornographic video to a female executive in order to terrify her into silence. Some of the most troubling accusations made against the International Planned Parenthood Federation came from a former regional director in Africa. After being dismissed over sexual misconduct allegations, she revealed the group had been offering sexual gifts to guests at African events for years. There had been, she quote, promoting of prostitution within the organization, where prostitutes would be organized for International Planned Parenthood Foundation staff, donors, and partners during functions. It was also repeated in Kenyan court documents, the accusation, where it was also added that, quote, young volunteers within the region were being offered to invitee guests during African gatherings and functions for sex or sexual pleasure. Oh, the exploitation and mistreatment of women at Planned Parenthood. The layers of it, really. Matt in Alsip, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Great topic, and thank you for sharing all the information about it.
Yeah.
I would just like to ask one particular question. I happen to teach at a local church from time to time, and about a month or two back, I had to cover this issue, and I didn't know exactly how to do it, but the one thing I did end up talking about more than anything is this fundamental issue of the sanctity of life. And so far, it doesn't matter who you talk to about these sort of things. It always comes down to that for me. And there's no way to escape the God thing behind this all. You mentioned earlier, Dan, the godlessness of the left. Is there any other way to have this conversation without also then having the God conversation? And if so, can maybe you give us some insight? Because I don't see any other way. And for a person who's an atheist, there's just a no go past this point zone. And it's really difficult because it's obviously really important. But it basically comes down to, do you believe your life is sacred or do you not? And that's my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Matt. I mean, that's a good start. There's no question. The one way to deal with some of the people that just sort of don't think, they're going where they think they're supposed to be because of pop culture is to just break it down, to expose the folly of the premise to which they're abiding. You're against discrimination, right? Oh, sure. Of course I am. So what would you say to somebody who wants to have an abortion just because the child is a girl? Would you support that? You want to help people that are vulnerable, right? You're a proponent of providing services and care to people who have disabilities, vulnerable populations, right? Oh, of course I am, sure. What about if somebody wants to abort a child just because that child has a disability? You for that? Oh, well, you get a lot of mumbling. You're for gay rights, equal love, right? As the song goes. Terrible song, by the way. Who's that idiot white rapper douche?
Oh, Eminem?
No,
I like Eminem.
No, this is
what
like some effeminate one. Can't think of his name. He just did a song with Kesha. Anyway.
Well, there you go.
Sorry.
You had me at Kesha.
Yeah, I let my subscription to Tiger Beat run out. Macklemore, that's it. Yeah, of course.
Of course, Justin knows, skateboard guy.
Yeah, the 16-year-old skateboarder shredder who's our producer.
And we're the age of his parents.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel very old.
But so you the whole thing, right? Gay marriage, equal love, Macklemore, all that, right? Sure. Oh, yeah, sure, of course. What with science, advances in science, we're getting to a place where we may be able to isolate a gene that indicates a predisposition to being gay. If we were able to get to that point, if that occurred in this Huxleyan world in which we live, would you support somebody aborting a child just because they had a predisposition to be gay? Oh, no. I don't know about that. A lot of mumbling. That's one way to go at it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion of the Democrat socialists roaming around Iowa as we're just a few days away from more than 133 events nationwide, a day of action to hashtag impeach Trump. Kids are at it again at 6:36.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are gray, and we have rain showers in our Chicago area forecast. Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. The bill passed the General Assembly at the end of May. It removes restrictions on both abortions later in pregnancy and criminal penalties for physicians that perform them, and repeals the state's partial birth Abortion Ban Act. Former Stanford University sailing coach faces sentencing today in the National College admissions fraud scandal. John Vandermoor previously pleaded guilty to racketeering and honest services fraud. He reportedly seared over $600,000 into Stanford sailing bank accounts for falsifying and falsely qualifying 3 students as recruits. President Trump and Joe Biden continue to toss insults at each other. The president was in Council Bluffs, Iowa, for a tour of an ethanol plant before going to West Des Moines for a GOP Iowa fundraiser.
And this is truly an extraordinary time for our nation. America is thriving. Optimism is booming. Our people are prospering. And our country is winning again. Winning again.
Former Vice President Joe Biden claiming the president is damaging the U.S. standing in the world, especially with how he behaved, he says, in Normandy.
A stunning display of childishness that the whole world watched.
Biden is the front runner among Democrat presidential hopefuls in Iowa. Hang on to your cell phone for a moment. T-Mobile's plan to take over Sprint is facing another big hurdle this morning. Attorneys general from 10 states will sue to block the proposed merger of the wireless carriers, claiming the reduction of choices for customers is going to drive up cost. Texas is at it again. Children there will no longer be breaking the law by operating an unlicensed lemonade stand. Governor Greg Abbott Monday signing a bill into law that bars cities and neighborhoods from blocking or regulating kids who sell lemonade and other non-alcoholic drinks on private property. An off-duty Chicago police officer facing charges in a crash that killed a woman sitting inside a Southside restaurant is out on bond. Terrence Finley bonded out of the Cook County Jail last night after being charged with reckless homicide and aggravated DUI. And this morning, Wheaton police are looking for a man who attempted to abduct a child outside of her home last week. Police say they were called to a home in the 300 block of South Pierce on June 7. They were told a female child was playing in the driveway of that home in the evening when she heard a noise and saw a man running toward her. The child ran into the house and did not speak to that man. Later, she went back outside with a flashlight to search for a family pet. As she was searching, police say she was approached from behind and was grabbed by the arm. The child was able to escape and ran back inside. It's a sign this morning the Mississippi River is slowly rolling back inside its banks. IDOT says this morning it's ready to reopen Quincy's Key Memorial Bridge. The bridge has been closed because of floodwaters since May 28th. Rockies beat the Cubs. White Sox power their way past the Nationals. And the Stanley Cup final comes down to a deciding Game 7. Bruins host the Blues tonight. The news is a service of Discover Home Equity Loans. Make home improvements or consolidate debt with a home equity loan from Discover Bank. NMLS ID 684042. Save with zero application fees, zero appraisal fees, and zero cash due at closing. Learn more at discoverhomeequityloans.com. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees Mueller's statement as nonsense.
So he tries to go out there and basically hang a cloud over President Trump, and he thinks he's being skillful in what he is doing here, and it ends up just backfiring and blowing up in his face.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear from Jim, who just completed a no-cost refinance with Townstone Financial.
I would recommend Townstone to anybody, and I do. I always knew where we were. I knew the dates. I knew when I had to have information. There was no fire drills. The overall experience was, off the charts. I've not experienced, there's very few companies that I've encountered that really deliver that customer experience, and that's what sets you guys apart, hands down.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, NMLS 136639, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, equal housing lender.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. I needed to take a minute just to brag on our almost 200 amazing employees. In 2009, we changed our tagline to, "We can grow any business in any industry at any time." The world trusted us and helped us become a 5-time Inc. 5000 honoree. Our 200 employees have done two major things at the same time. We manage 1,800 money-making websites and over 260 e-commerce sites for our client partners across the globe. 34% of Americans visited one of these assets last year. But at the same time, these amazing employees have stopped their life every single week and recorded videos and podcasts of exactly how we grow these digital assets. If you're looking to figure out how we do it, just go to door number 1. It's free. You can study thousands of hours of material on how to grow your business. If you have money but no time, go to door number 2. It's a bit pricey, but our managed services are absolutely incredible. You got to check out IncomeStore.com. Our 200 employees are absolutely amazing.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
6:37 in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Northbound Tri-State traffic is heavy from Cicero Avenue to the 83rd Street Toll Plaza, and farther north, Reagan Toll, right to the Grand Avenue curve. Indiana Toll Road has westbound delays, Hobart Road to Grant, and Calumet Avenue to Indianapolis Boulevard due to construction. The Edens runs 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 36, and westbound 190 stuffed up with airport traffic. The Eisenhower, 42 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Delay start at Weber Road. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Finish at 423. Lakeshore Drive is okay. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, not as warm, couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, high 72. Currently 68. Your next news update is at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. What do you think about banning single-service plastic products?
You mean like straws, utensils, plastic bags,
water bottles?
Ooh. Oh, now you're.
Oh, now
now you've struck a nerve.
Yeah, hit home.
No, I use the same water bottle I change it out every 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, but you want to have a right to purchase the water bottle.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Are you enjoying some of the paper straws you've been forced to use in restaurants lately?
Remember when I was on a plane and I tweeted a picture? You have bamboo sticks now. They're not straws. They're just straws. I don't even have any type of straws. But yeah, paper straws. I can't do them. I tried.
Well, the grade school drama teacher who turns out to be the Prime Minister of Canada, his name's Justin Trudeau. He has proposed the ban on single-service plastic items to save the planet. And so as an enterprising reporter up north of the border there in strange Brewland, Michelle Rempel details. Somebody asked him the obvious question. Hey, PM, OPM, what are you doing to be the change you wish to see? And then actually does a little bit of research, too. to give lie to some of the empty-headed sentimentalism that's behind policies like this. Listen to Michelle Rumpel's report.
Today, Justin Trudeau went out and did a big announcement saying that he wanted to ban single-use plastics in Canada by 2021. Now, when he was questioned about this, like, what are you going to ban, over what period of time, or, you know, what industries might be affected, or what are the costs to consumers, he didn't have a lot of answers. Of course he doesn't, because that's Justin Trudeau, right? He'll come out and say something and not have a plan behind it. But he was asked one very interesting question, and that was, what is his family doing to protect the environment and reduce plastics in Canada?
You and your family do to cut back on plastics?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper.
Paper bottles? I love paper.
Like drink box water bottles, sort of things.
Wow, that was something. Okay, so I think he said drink box water bottles sort of thing.
Drink box water bottles sort of thing.
I looked on Amazon and 12 drink box water bottle sorts of things are just a little over $20. On the same site, 120 water bottles are the same price. So that makes it about 9 times more expensive. Now, of course, that's a Justin Trudeau thing. I mean, with the carbon tax, it's not going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but he's making you and I pay for everything at increased prices, while his taxpayer-funded nanny family and trust fund income family get to buy drink box water bottle sort of things. Now, for those of you who are watching and go, wow, Michelle, at least he's trying. This is an important issue. I agree. But the answer he should have given to that question, and there are so many things he could have said, would be what you and I and many other Canadians do every day. We take a cup and we fill it with tap water. Or if we're on the go, we take a metal bottle and fill it up from the tap. But no, drink box water bottle sort of things. Here's the kicker. I did a little bit of research into this thing, and the CBC article from 2014 that actually shows that these things are actually lined with a plastic product. The cap is plastic. They're less likely to be recycled than water bottles. And when they are recycled, water bottles are 100% recyclable. These are only about 75% recyclable. So they're still producing plastic waste. And I bet you when he finally figures out what he's banning, he'd have to ban drink box water bottle sorts of things too.
I mean, what a pea hat wearer too. Like, I drink box, water box, bottles.
Well, that's when you're caught with your pants down and
Yeah.
you're trying to come up with an answer that makes you sound sensible. It didn't work.
Have you had water out of the drink box, water bottle?
No, but I've had like juice boxes back in the day when I was
it's
taking
similar.
my lunch to
Right,
school.
it looks exactly like similar to a carton of milk or
Mm-hmm.
orange juice, and then that's the way you drink it. And it is lined with plastic. She's right.
What are the Canadians going to do with their milk? They sell milk in bags.
Yeah.
Are they going to put those in paper bags?
Oh, that's right. What are you going to do?
Oh. It turns out to be a lot of real world problems, and also, it's not just the 10x cost. It's not just the practical alternatives to this banning everything that you don't like in the name of Mother Earth. It's also the fact that most of what is proposed turns out to be counterproductive to the stated goals, as she was just describing, in terms of the recyclability of the drink box, water bottle. Drink
box,
water
water
bottle
box.
sort of things. Drink box, water box, sort of whatever it is. But anyway, Trudeau doesn't know either, so we shouldn't feel too bad about that. But it's just remarkable. What you say you're going to do, you're actually achieving the opposite. You're actually going in the opposite direction you think you're going. But that's sentimentality. That's emotion as the basis of morality. That is the cant of a politician talking where a brain used to be.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. A new multi-billion-dollar oil pipeline has been proposed. The owner of the Dallas Cowboys buys an energy company, and going to college still pays off. Those stories next.
Are you a stock or options trader looking for real trading strategies that you can use immediately? Hi, my name is Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, and I'm on a mission to become the #1 options coach in America. I'm a former vice president at Goldman Sachs. I have over 25 years of options trading experience, and right now, I'm giving away my most famous options guide with over 20 unique options strategies that I use every day for free. You can't buy this guide anywhere. To claim your free options trading guide, simply call 855-892-2307 now and mention my name, Scott Bauer, and we will rush you the guide. Call 855-892-2307, and someone from my options team will help you get this guide in your inbox as quickly as possible. Call 855-892-2307 now and start learning to trade the right way. Call 855-892-2307. Prosper with options.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Phillips 66 and a Wyoming company proposing a new $1.6 billion pipeline to move crude oil from North Dakota. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones investing $475 million to buy Dallas area energy company Covey Park in a $2.2 billion deal. Jones already owns a significant stake in Comstock Energy, 75% owner of that company's stock. Both companies engaged in oil exploration. The Treasury Department releasing the federal budget for the month of May will also have May's Consumer Price Index from the Department of Labor. With tuition rising and student loan costs creating a huge burden, many young Americans wonder if a college degree is still worth it. The New York Fed says, yes, it is. A typical college graduate today earning $33,000 more than someone who attended high school. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, want to give your kids or grandkids a summer camp experience they will never, ever forget? Well, please consider St. John's Northwestern Leadership Academy summer programs. It's nestled in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin. St. John's Northwestern offers day and boarding camp programs for all ages, male, females. Fresh air, physical activity are key ingredients for a rewarding summer experience, and the programs at St. John's Northwestern offer plenty of it. To this, we add some very important extras: leadership development, team building, character building. The combination, I'm telling you, is transformative. Peyton and Eli went there last year for a week. They came back better people, better younger men. So whether you seek a fun day camp, an away-from-home adventure, or academic support over summer break, St. John's Northwestern's got it. St. John's Northwestern Summer Leadership Academies. Leadership lives here. Get more information or call at 1-800-SJ-CADET, 1-800-SJ-CADET, if you want to take a virtual tour and see what activities they offer for their summer programs and year-round schooling. Go to YouTube, type in Amy Jacobson, and you'll see SJNMA, and see it for yourself. 1-800-SJ-CADET or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
When I wasn't taking it and I was waiting for my operation, I was feeling very tired. Now I'm driving like 11, 12 hours a day. I told you I manage 15 gas stations. And I have so much energy. I even gave some of my pills for my son, and he said, Dad, this is good, so I like it. I'm healing so fast. It's like amazing. My family is so surprised because my wound closing up and doing so good. So that is working now that I'm start taking my those fruits and vegetables.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Attention, this is a money-making opportunity. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-secured returns up to 18%. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text QUICK to 31000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit. And get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices for big profits. All from home working part-time. Text QUICK to 31000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit. Plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text QUICK to 31000. That's QUICK to 31000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
The company began when Windows 95 was still singing Start Me Up and Novell servers were in vogue. Always learning since the day the doors opened and consistently finding technological solutions for those they serve. They've been through more iterations of operating systems than one would care to remember. Constantly changing and evolving to stay best in technological breed for decades. People serving people and leaving technological footprints for nearly 25 years. They're not afraid of technology and embrace its ever-changing life cycle. They know IT, they live IT, and they want to be your information technology partner. From help desk to Office 365 to desktop support and cloud solutions, they've got you covered. Turnkey IT, to make your company better, stronger, and ready to compete and win. Turnkey.pro.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we were talking about one cardboard cutout human being that drones out words where mind used to be. He's the grade school drama teacher that turns out to be the Canadian Prime Minister as well, Justin Trudeau, talking about banning single-use plastic items. We've got an example locally here, too. Lake County.
Yeah.
Lake County, they've been, the Forest Preserve has been providing for space for Civil War reenactments for almost 3 decades. They have a Civil War days at Lakewood Forest Preserve.
People love that stuff. That's a whole subculture. I hate to tell you that I dated a Civil War reenactor. I haven't been telling you because I know that you're going to rip on me.
First of all, I believe you were old enough to have dated a Civil War veteran.
Oh, you're so rude.
So
that's so mean.
Did the Civil War reenactor, did that come before or after the competitive eater?
It was before the competitive eater.
Mm-hmm.
He and his dad would go down and they'd spend their summer breaks going to different reenactments and sometimes participating, sometimes watching. But they were really into it.
And then
they were the Yankees. They're on the right side, though.
And that was right before the Brazilian glassblower. And when
where does Jeff Mo fit in all that?
Yeah, right. Jeff Mo, a basketball player.
Oh yeah, but by the way, he owns a strip club and he's in some trouble.
Oh, what about now the Wombat Groomer? When did you date the Wombat Groomer?
I'm sorry.
That was right after the mime, wasn't it?
Right. We got along great.
Sure, he couldn't get out of that box.
Exactly. Best boyfriend I ever had.
Civil War reenactors.
Yes, what's going to happen?
Well, and Civil
Those
War
guys
days.
are so hot. Oh, I know. A good-looking group.
Yeah.
They should do a calendar.
Lake County Board President Angelo Kyle canceled Civil War days
Why?
because he wants the district to look at other things like global warming and climate change.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Tribune reporting. Don't worry, Western World. Angelo Kyle and the Lake County Board are on the job of combating climate change. I know. Act locally and think globally. I get it, of course. Angelo
Lake
Kyle.
County Forest Preserve Chairman. He's dead to me.
Speaking of acting locally, maybe Angelo Kyle, who hails from Waukegan, as I understand it. How's Waukegan doing? He told some who were a bit aghast that he had taken what's apparently sort of a unilateral decision.
Well, yeah, he said that this is nothing we want, nor should celebrate, nor reenact. Really? You don't want to remember history so you don't repeat it?
It's interesting thing for an African American gentleman to say. Some of the things I experienced I cannot talk about here, said Mr. Kyle while referencing the sight of Confederate battle flags. Yeah, I don't know how to break it to you. If you're going to do a Civil War reenactment, that's necessarily going to include the South.
Shh, don't say it. Would it be acceptable? Would it be acceptable to do the reenactment without the Confederate flag? No, it's part of history, sir.
Well, again, we just have to erase history. I'm a bit confused though. We're supposed to obsess about America's original sin, slavery, and we're also supposed to expunge it. How can we do both?
The line that he wanted the district to look at other issues like global warming and climate change.
So, we spend so much time talking about Chicago for obvious reasons. But the reason Illinois is the worst governed state in the history of America is because in the suburbs, you have elected officials like Angelo Kyle running the show. Lake County and then, of course, complicit, ignorant, and cowardly Republicans that have ceded all of this suburban turf to the cultural Marxists. That's why.
But
the reason Illinois is gone is because the suburbs are gone.
Yeah, it's true.
And apparently, while they're at it, while they're taking out the suburbs, they're going to try to make sure that this is an American history free zone. The land of Lincoln is an American history free zone. The land of Lincoln is a place where you can't do Civil War days. The irony completely lost on Angelo Kyle and his comrades up in Lake County.
So he just made a unilateral decision. It's over.
That's what seems to be one of the board members, a former president of the Forest Preserves, Ann Main, questioned his authority to make the decision, suggesting it was not transparent and there was no input. And so he sort of acted in an imperious fashion. But that's the least of his crimes. His ignorance is the worst of it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll, talking about American history, Jon Stewart gives us a little bit of a history lesson in his remarks before a congressional subcommittee. That's at 7:07.
But first, let's hit the newsroom. Here is the one, the only Mike Scott.
An off-duty CPD officer charged in a deadly crash, released on bond. A judge tosses a lawsuit trying to stop the Obama Center in Jackson Park. Chicago woman gives birth safely in front of a firehouse. Jury selection complete for the Christensen trial. Rockies top the Cubs. White Sox power past the Nationals. Mostly cloudy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
The House may soon go to court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This is not about Donald Trump or Donald Trump alone.
Instead, Adam Schiff, who keeps investigating the president as head of the House Intelligence Committee, says
this is a fight over whether any Congress can oversee any president, whether any Congress in the future can hold a president accountable for corruption, for criminal activity, for malfeasance or simple incompetence.
After House Democrats passed a resolution allowing Congress to sue Trump administration officials or others like ex-White House counsel Don McGahn to compel them to comply with subpoenas. The White House says it's time to move on. There was no obstruction of justice charge in the Mueller report, and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham told Fox,
"The collusion narrative has died with the Mueller report, and the corruption narrative is growing."
He is investigating anti-Trump bias and the origins of the Russia investigation. Donald Trump Jr. is caught up again in what his father calls a witch hunt. He'll talk to the Senate Intelligence Committee today about the infamous Trump Tower meeting with a Russian lawyer and discrepancies in what Trump Jr. told lawmakers about a Moscow business plan and what ex-Trump lawyer Michael Cohen testified about. There's a new report out detailing problems with the care in some nursing homes. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the watchdog for Health and Human Services, releasing the report showing nursing facilities have failed to report thousands of serious cases of potential abuse and neglect as required by law. Auditors reviewed Medicare billing records and found 6,600 red flag episodes involving emergency room trips. Nursing homes that fail to report neglect and abuse can be slapped with hefty fines. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services says it's stepping up supervision of nursing facilities caring for frail patients. Dave?
Rachel, there's a second arrest in the Dominican Republic in David Ortiz's shooting. This says the former baseball all-star player keeps recovering in Boston. He took his first steps after a second surgery. This is Fox News.
Cloudy, 67 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. Bill removes restrictions on both abortions later in pregnancy and criminal penalties for physicians that perform them, and repeals the state's Partial Birth Abortion Ban Act. An off-duty Chicago police officer facing charges in a crash that killed a woman sitting inside of a Southside restaurant over the weekend. Terrence Finley is out on bond. He bonded out of Cook County Jail last night after being booked in with reckless homicide and aggravated DUI charges. A federal judge says he'll dismiss a lawsuit brought by a parks advocacy group trying to stop former President Barack Obama's presidential center from being built in a lakefront park. An attorney for the parks organization that brought the suit says they will appeal. A group of nurses embroiled in a contract dispute has filed complaints with government agencies about staffing at the University of Chicago Medical Center. Medical Center noting that it is in contract talks with nurses, adding making sensational allegations as part of that union's playbook. As the summer warms up, there's a new worry in water across the state. State's Department of Natural Resources says now is the time when blue-green algae blooms become a problem. The blooms found in lakes or ponds can be bothersome for people but can be deadly for pets. Rockies beat the Cubs 10-3. Wellington Castillo a grand slam, and the White Sox win over the Nationals 7-5. The news service of Ace, the helpful place. It's the Father's Day sale at Ace. Hurry in and save hundreds on Dad's favorite brands like Milwaukee, DeWalt, Craftsman, Traeger, and Yeti. Plus, Ace has a huge lineup of STIHL outdoor power tools, so you can be sure to find something he'll definitely love. See participating store for details. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
News, opinion, insight.
They broke the deal. They can't do that. So they'll be paying. We don't make the deal.
What happens next happens here.
The special counsel's finding is clear. Case closed.
That's just not a fact. The case is not closed.
These stories and more are changing by the minute. Check in 2, 3, 4 times each day for the latest.
If they do anything, it would be a very bad mistake.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Lawn lovers, run with us on a John Deere Z500 Series Z-Track mower. Built to mow better, faster with an Excel Deep Mower Deck. Because whether you're up against the clock or a busy day, this zero turn gets it done in almost no time at all. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Test drive a Z500 Series Z-Track mower at your John Deere dealer during the Take Your Turn sales event.
What if you had your own personal recruiter to help you find a better job?
And they would say, hey, I found a company that likes your profile and may even pay you more. Well, now, ZipRecruiter's technology can do that for you. Just download the free ZipRecruiter job search app, customize your job matches, and its technology does the work. It puts your profile in front of potential employers. And if they like your profile, ZipRecruiter lets you know. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated job search app. So download the free ZipRecruiter app today.
With over $255 million in dividends declared since inception, their record speaks for itself. At MagMutual, one of the leading providers of medical professional liability insurance, you're more than a policyholder, you're a policy owner. As an owner, they believe you should benefit from your company's success, which is why they strive to return as much as they can back to their policy owners. MagMutual policyholders have received annual dividends every year since 2007, and they are continually looking for ways to provide greater value to policy owners in the practice, business, and regulation of medicine. Additionally, they set aside millions on their financial statements exclusively for their Owner Circle loyalty program. Over 25,000 physicians and healthcare organizations are currently benefiting from MagMutual ownership. Are you? Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about MagMutual in Illinois, please contact Mike Blaum at Medical Risk Services at 630-821-6002 or by email at mblaum@medrisk1.com. Visit their website at medrisk1.com.
At Farmers Insurance, we know every windshield collision has a unique sound. Beetle. Bird poop. Drone. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
It is 7:07. Check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Traffic has gotten heavy in a hurry on the eastbound Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll Plaza to Wiola Road. The northbound Tri-State has delays from Cicero Road to the 83rd Street Toll, from the Stevenson to 47th, and from Roosevelt to Irving Park after a crash, which is cleared. Northbound Veterans Memorial is slow going, 75th to Maple. Edens is 23 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 18 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. The Eisenhower's 45 minutes, 390 to downtown, 30 from Manheim. Stevenson, 53 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the Merge. Bishop, 429. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, not as warm. Shower and a thunderstorm. The high today at 72. Clouds and showers tonight, low 52. Clouds tomorrow morning, sun for the afternoon, breezy day. A high tomorrow at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
68 at O'Hare, next news 7:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So there's so much talked about it to opportunities to have unity of purpose across ideological and party lines. Well, one such opportunity presented itself yesterday when former Daily Show host Jon Stewart, who's a leftist, testified before the House Judiciary's Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. He was testifying on behalf of 9/11 first responders and for an extension of the James Zadroga Act, which provides a victims' compensation fund to take care of the ill health effects felt by individuals and their families, individuals who responded to the terrorist attack on 9/11, and the families that have suffered along with them as their health has deteriorated in many cases.
Yeah, a lot of cases of cancer, a lot of respiratory problems, and even, there's just the list goes on and on of the problems and the health problems they've had.
So his clarion call we'll isolate. But then I want you to hear a real chunk of what he had to say. It's important. Here's the call, though, to set it up.
Al-Qaeda didn't shout death to Tribeca. They attacked America and these men and women, and their response to it is what brought our country back. It's what gave a reeling nation a solid foundation to stand back upon, to remind us of why this country is great, of why this country is worth fighting for. And you are ignoring them.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I wanted to start there because I think in this context, you have to think about the first responders as soldiers. They were responding to a terrorist attack.
Mhm.
Stewart is exactly right. Al-Qaeda didn't say death to Tribeca. It was death to America, and they hit New York. And
They
so
hit the heart of our country.
So think about this and what you're about to hear from Don Stewart in the context of other scandalous failures to abide our promises to military veterans that we've talked about in this show, most notably the VA scandal in terms of the failure to provide health care services to military veterans.
A filled room of 9/11 first responders, and in front of me, a nearly empty Congress. Sick and dying, they brought themselves down here to speak to no one. It's shameful. It's an embarrassment to the country, and it is a stain on this institution. And you should be ashamed of yourselves for those that aren't here, but you won't be. Because accountability doesn't appear to be something that occurs in this chamber. We don't want to be here. Lou doesn't want to be here. None of these people want to be here. But they are, and they're not here for themselves. They're here to continue fighting for what's right. Lou's going to go back for his 69th chemo. The great Ray Pfeiffer would come down here, his body riddled with cancer and pain, where he couldn't walk. And the disrespect shown to him and to the other lobbyists on this bill is utterly unacceptable. You know, I would be so angry at the latest injustice that's done to these men and women. And, another business card thrown our way as a way of shooing us away, like children trick-or-treating, rather than the heroes that they are and will always be. Ray would say, "Calm down, Johnny, calm down. I got all the cards I need." And he would tap his pocket. Where he kept the prayer cards of 343 firefighters. The official FDNY response time to 9/11 was 5 seconds. 5 seconds. That's how long it took for FDNY, for NYPD, for Port Authority, for EMS to respond to an urgent need from the public. 5 seconds. Hundreds died in an instant. Thousands more poured in to continue to fight for their brothers and sisters. The breathing problem started almost immediately, and they were told they weren't sick, they were crazy. And then, as the illnesses got worse and things became more apparent, well, okay, you're sick, but it's not from the pile. And then, when the science became irrefutable, Okay, it's the pile. But this is a New York issue. I don't know if we have the money. And I'm sorry if I sound angry and undiplomatic, but I'm angry. And you should be too, and they're all angry as well. And they have every justification to be that way. There is not a person here, there is not an empty chair on that stage that didn't tweet out, "Never forget the heroes of 9/11. Never forget their bravery. Never forget what they did, what they gave to this country." Well, here they are. And where are they? And it would be one thing if their callous indifference and rank hypocrisy were benign, but it's not. Your indifference cost these men and women their most valuable commodity, time. It's the one thing they're running out of. This should be flipped. This hearing should be flipped. These men and women should be up on that stage, and Congress should be down here answering their questions as to why this is so damn hard and takes so damn long. And why, no matter what they get, something's always pulled back, and they got to come back.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. As you let the words of Jon Stewart wash over you, think about this juxtaposition. At the same time, Jon Stewart and 9/11 families are in that committee hearing and testifying.
Yeah.
House Republicans and Democrats, from House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy to socialist it girl Ocasio-Cortez, are coming together to support a congressional pay raise.
Is that why all those lawmakers were gone? I mean, I know it's a subcommittee, and then it's going to go to committee, and they said normally no one's there for that. But aren't we paying them to be there and do their jobs?
They're gone for different reasons. Eric Swalwell's on that committee. He's out in Iowa running for president.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that, Eric.
And Republicans were missing, too. But I mean, the juxtaposition, right now, yesterday, the stories are about, some of the stories are about a congressional pay raise. They deserve it. And Kevin McCarthy says they deserve it, and Ocasio-Cortez say they deserve a $4,500 raise on their $174,000 salaries. Meanwhile, you have this going on at that subcommittee hearing.
Meanwhile, there's talk of allowing illegal immigrants to get free health care, too. We can
Well,
pay for that.
That's
We can pay for
happening
that.
in
Right.
California.
But I'm saying we're paying for theirs, but not for our heroes
Well,
who
it's
sacrifice themselves.
Yeah, where it's happening at the border.
And what the families want is they want to be guaranteed that this fund is going to last for another 70 years. That was the purpose. And Jon Stewart has been with this group of guys since the get-go. And Louis, who he's talking about, whose name is Lewis, who is the gentleman with cancer, he looked very sickly up there yesterday, but he had to be
How is
there.
it fair that I was duly compensated, but others that are now sick and dying from their exposure will not be? How is it fair that...
That's not Lewis. Hold on one second.
How is it fair that...
Well, I lost it. We played it earlier, but still, it's just he looked so sick, and it was his 69th round of chemo. And you can tell he doesn't have much time left on this earth.
When you listen to that testimony and you think about this issue, think about something else. Think about how much of your life you want to put in the hands of government. Both parties. Would you like to be in the position of 9/11 first responders having to rely on the promise made by politicians 20 years ago? Because the hashtag campaigns are over. The yellow ribbons are gone. They've done their never forgetting and their speechifying on holidays. That's all past post now. Now comes the hard work and the attention to detail to make sure promises are kept. So for those of you who are proponents of cradle-to-grave government. The grave comes a lot earlier than it otherwise would in so many instances when you put your life in the hands of government. And I know the 9/11 families didn't do that voluntarily. Not on that day.
But all the firefighters, construction workers, police officers who ran to New York to help out, put out those fires that were burning for weeks, even at the Pentagon. They were in conditions with soot and without proper respiratory protection. That's why they have cancer, lung respiratory problems, and a lot of digestive system ailments too.
Yes, there was testimony from the chair of occupational medicine, epidemiology, and prevention of Hofstra School of Medicine, Dr. Jacqueline Moline, who said there are more than 11,000 types of cancer that have been reported since the attacks of 9/11, ranging from glioblastoma, brain cancer, to debilitating lung cancers that you're describing. And again, the intellectual leadership of the two parties, Ocasio-Cortez, Kevin McCarthy talking about a COLA bump for members of Congress because it's been 10 years since they got a cost of living increase. $174,000 is their salary, base salary.
That's not enough.
$174,000. That is fewer than 5% of American households have a household income of $174,000. Fewer than 5%. And Kevin McCarthy, this is the minority leader, Republican leader. I don't want Congress at the end of the day to be a place that only millionaires serve. This should be a body of the people. I think it's something that should be looked at. Really, you need a COLA to to prevent it from being a millionaires only club. That's your defense. Why would you devote a single moment, a single iota of mind share in this context with what's going on in this country to talking about a $4,500 bump for a bunch of politicians whose individual income is more than 95% of Americans' household income? Are you fracking serious? And the answer is no, they're not. And this is how something like keeping promises to 9/11 first responders slips through the cracks. John on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thank you for taking my call. I just want to say Jon Stewart was spot on. I might have my disagreements with him, but what he did was very honorable. And I got to say about our government, this reminds me of that TV show Chernobyl. Are we no better than the U.S. or than the Soviet Union? That we're not going to take care of our people after they put their lives on the line for us?
Well, the problem is
despicable.
They've had them in these areas without protective gear on, and that's why I thought it was similar to Chernobyl. When you needed to get something done, you needed the area cleaned up to prove that you're not defeating us. All hands on deck, but they didn't protect people correctly. Just got a text message from one of my firefighter friends. His brother, they were there for 2 weeks. We signed up. We ran there. My brother now has a very rare kidney cancer, and they're signing up for this program because they believe it's associated with his time in New York.
Ken in Grays Lake.
I'm wondering how much of the treatment these people need could have been paid for by the plane loads of cash that went to Iran while Obama was president. Sure.
Thanks for the call, Ken. Sure. I mean, you could go chapter and verse through a $4 trillion budget on what are lower spend priorities than keeping your promises to 9/11 first responders, couldn't you? That's not difficult. Same thing with the VA and providing health care to veterans that we don't do a good job of. And how much has that really improved since the scandal broke a few years ago? I mean, what kind of stop, look, and listen reporting is being, oversight is being done, reporting is being provided to the public? Everything's just magically better? Or did we just lose our ability to pay attention to it over more than a couple of months time frame? Maybe an enterprising member of Congress could revisit what the status is with the VA. I hope veterans who are being maltreated and their families are still making their voices heard the way Jon Stewart helped 9/11 families make their voices heard yesterday. Annie on the North Side.
Our politicians across the board are a disgrace on both sides.
if anyone worked like Congress, we'd all be fired. And the men and women in America that they forget about, these heroes of 9/11 and our veterans, they always tell them they don't have enough money for them. But it's amazing how quick they sign bills into law for illegals. Let's get them health care and all these benefits, but they forget about Americans. And you know what? All those first responders, they would do it all over again, even if they saw the future.
Thanks, Annie. Greg in Schaumburg.
Dan and Amy, thank you for playing that clip in the length that you did, because that was needed. That is unprecedented for radio on a show your type. And as a result, Kevin McCarthy is getting a call from me today, and so is Donald Trump, to wean those people out, just to concentrate on our side. That was unforgivable. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, actually, you're right. I mean, I think this is something that has gotten enough attention. It should be leveled up to the president. I assume it already has by staff. This is something where he should intercede. There's no question. That's an opportunity to do something that is post-partisan, no matter how much you hate Trump or no matter how much you hate the members of the New York delegation that are also supportive of this, the liberal Democrats. Yeah, put it aside. Everybody's always saying they're looking for opportunities to do that. So do it in a way that's actually meaningful for a change.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Father's Day sale at Ace. Hurry in and save hundreds on Dad's favorite brands like Milwaukee, DeWalt, Craftsman, Traeger, and Yeti. Plus, Ace has an extensive lineup of STIHL outdoor power tools, so you can be sure to find something you'll love. And save time when you buy online and pick up in store. Make this Father's Day one that Dad will always remember, with great gifts from the best brands. All at your local Ace. Offers valid on select items at participating stores through June 17th. See store for details.
At Walgreens, we know that your day doesn't stop for diabetes. So when you've got places to go and people to see, count on Walgreens every day to get expert diabetes advice 24/7. Find all major brands of testing supplies like Walgreens True Metrics in-store and online. And download tools to help you stay on track, like our 5-star mobile app with Pill Reminder. At Walgreens, we are your diabetes go-to. Stop by and talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
You're going to want to come and golf with us on Monday, June 24th at the beautiful Mistwood Country Club in Romeoville. I know a lot of people are signing up. We have a few foursomes left. It's going to be fun, right, Dan? Are you getting ready? How's your golf game, by the way? Let's talk about Dan. Enough about Dan. What do you think of Dan? 312-642-56.
Yeah, it's been real up and down. And I'm playing at the Cathedral of Golf in North America tomorrow too.
You are the Chicago Golf
Chicago
Club?
Golf Club.
Really? Where you used to caddy?
That's right.
You're going to teach them a few things? Tell the young men, hey, I used to do your job.
I'm just going to try not to embarrass myself.
You'll be fine. But if you want to see Dan golf, we have 5 foursomes. That's all we have left for our upcoming golf outing at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. It's less than 2 weeks away, folks, and we're doing it all to benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties as they provide educational financial support to the families of first responders. We were just talking about them, those brave men and women. So help a good cause. Join us for a great day of golf. 312-363-6680. Let me try that again. 312-363-6680. You'll enjoy a lunch buffet and dinner buffet all along with a silent auction and an afternoon of golf. And now anyone can join us for a great day of golf. Again, 312-363-6680.
Tell me if this is you. There's an outdoor project that you've been wanting to get done, but you just don't have the time or patience to deal with unprofessional contractors. It's a common theme of frustration. You need AM Woodland Outdoor Design for a professional design and a team that will show up on time to get the job done. They'll even let you know throughout the project how everything's going. Imagine that. When you're ready to liven up your curb appeal or completely redesign your outdoor living space, the perfect solution? AM Woodland Design. With so many landscape contractor options to choose from, use a team that shares your values of hard work, honesty, integrity, and patriotism. AM Woodland Outdoor Design proudly sponsors Food for the Poor as a business benefactor and would be honored to work with you.
A.M. Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
Hey, this is big. Listen up. You're about to hear how you can receive the single biggest discount on Balance of Nature that has ever been offered on this radio station. And you're going to want to take advantage of it because Balance of Nature works. There's really no simpler way to say it. Your body needs fruits and vegetables, and you're not getting enough in your diet. So here's how Balance of Nature works. When you take the recommended 3-capsule dosage, your body receives as much nutrition as it would from eating more than 10 servings of a salad made with 31 different fruits and vegetables. Think about that. It's just that easy. You know, you hear people talking about Balance of Nature every day on this station, including me, because it works. Peyton and Eli love it. They take it every day. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. And here's the deal you need to take advantage of before it's gone. For a limited time, you can receive 30% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. But you've got to use the promo code Chicago. That's 30% off and free shipping when you call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to our friend, economist, and Wall Street Journal columnist Steve Moore. While Joe Biden was out peddling a cure for cancer, Peter Schweitzer was detailing some of what he's done to peddle for his son, Hunter. We'll pick that up at 7:37.
But first, let's head straight into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Clouds, 67 degrees, and that back and forth between President Trump and Joe Biden made headlines in Iowa. And it continues this morning after they went after each other on the stump yesterday. Biden campaigning in 3 cities in eastern Iowa.
We can overcome 4 years of this presidency. It'll go down in history as an aberration. No, I really mean, I think we can overcome it. A lot of damage has been done. It's going to take a lot of hard work.
The president returned fire from western Iowa.
A vote for Democrats is a vote for totally open borders. It all equals a massive cost. It equals massive crime.
The president also touted his recent deal with Mexico on immigration. Donald Trump Jr. in Washington answering more questions from the Senate Intelligence Committee today. Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley working on a bill that would strip the president's ability to apply tariffs on other nations. Grassley telling Politico that over the last 80 years, Congress has deeded over too much of its authority to the president on the issue. Colorado's starting up a controversial trial program. Trained civilians may begin handling some of the 911 calls in Denver. The idea behind the proposal is to free up officers from having to respond to calls that could be better handled by a medic or a mental health professional. Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. The family of an 84-year-old woman who died following a Memorial Day weekend crash involving 2 Chicago police vehicles is suing the city and the officers involved. And a jury is now seated in the Brent Christensen trial. Christensen is charged with kidnapping and killing a visiting U of I scholar Yingying Zhang in June of 2017. Opening statements are scheduled to begin this morning. Rockies beat the Cubs 10-3. White Sox power past the Nationals 7-5. The news is a service of Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they know the sound of a perfect hot air balloon landing and the less than perfect one. Seen it, covered it, talked to farmers. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher exposes the impeachment strategy of the Democrats.
It kind of hit me. They might just want to hold the prospect of impeachment over his head for as long as they can, trying to do as much damage as they can to his standing. Maybe that's the play.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. We know how important it is to take a partner in the passenger seat when you're on a long road trip. You need a trusted friend and a voice to help you navigate through the hills and valleys of your journey. We want to be that voice for you on your road to retirement.
Absolutely. Our whole team at Wealth Management Group will be by your side for the long haul.
Let Wealth Management Group be your compass and your guide to retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and tune in each week to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Want to give your kids or grandkids a summer camp experience they'll never forget? Consider St. John's Northwestern Leadership Academy's summer programs. Nestled in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin, St. John's Northwestern offers day and boarding camp programs for all ages. Fresh air and physical activity are key ingredients for a rewarding summer experience, and the programs at St. John's Northwestern offer plenty of it. Plus, they add some very important extras: leadership development, team building, and character building. The combination is transformative. Whether you seek a fun day camp, an away-from-home adventure, or academic support over summer break, St. John's Northwestern's got it. St. John's Northwestern Summer Leadership Academies. Leadership lives here. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
7:37 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Eastbound Adams tollway traffic is jammed. Elmhurst Road to Lee, there's a crash there in the left lane. Northbound Veterans Memorial traffic's heavy. I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Edens runs 23 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 22 from Montrose, 19 on the Express. The Eisenhower's 45-minute drive from 390 to downtown, 30 from Manheim. The Stevenson, it's 53 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, siding to the Burns, Mission 425. Northbound Lakeshore Drive, it's heavy 18th Drive to Roosevelt. The exit to Grand Avenue and Illinois Street at Navy Pier is closed till 10 a.m. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, not as warm. Couple of showers and afternoon thunderstorm possible, high 72. Currently 68. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I don't know who's having more trouble putting butts in the seats. An old plagiarist peddling a cure for cancer or the Norma Desmond of 80s pop. They're both struggling.
Well, Biden yesterday had a big announcement that, even though he's running for president, he's still going to do the task that President Obama appointed him, and that's cure cancer.
A lot of you understand that what loss is, and when loss occurs, that people come up to you and tell you, I understand if you lose a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter, a family member, and lots of times you feel like saying, they say, I know how you feel, and if they hadn't, you look at them, they mean well, but you say, you have no idea how I feel. But when it happens to you, That's why I've worked so hard in my career to make sure that, I promise you, if I'm elected president, you're going to see the single most important thing that changes in America is we're going to cure cancer. You think but that's another issue.
That's a big campaign promise. Wow.
I mean, honestly, it's just shameless. It really is just shameless. Finally, somebody's come out against cancer and a desire to see it cured. Wow. Oh, by the way, while Joe Biden has been peddling the story about his great work in advance of curing cancer, I'd love to hear the specifics. What specifically have you done since you were designated as the cancer czar by President Obama in his State of the Union address on his way out the door? Specifically. Anybody want to follow up with that? But while he's peddling that snake oil in Iowa, we're revisiting some of what else Joe Biden was peddling during his time as vice president. Junior League Clinton Foundation stuff, as Peter Schweitzer documented in his book, Secret Empires. And that's coming back around. That's not going away. Schweitzer reminding us of Hunter Biden's forays into the energy business in Ukraine, forays into private equity with the help of the Chinese.
Yeah, so in the case of the Ukraine, Hunter Biden joins the board of Burisma, a troubled energy company in Ukraine, in the spring of 2014. It's important for people to know that he had no background in Ukraine. He had no background in energy policy. What I think he had was a father who was point person in the Obama administration on U.S. aid dollars flowing to Ukraine. Basically, we know from financial records that Hunter Biden was getting $83,000 a month from Burisma, really basically doing nothing. And the Chinese at the same time struck a $1.5 billion private equity deal with Hunter Biden's small private equity firm called Rosemont Seneca Partners. Again, Eric, he had no background in China, really no background in private equity, but his father, as with Ukraine, was also Obama administration point person on policy towards China.
So no background in energy, no background in Ukraine. So obviously they make him a partner in an energy concern there. No background in private equity, no background in China. So obviously they invest in his nascent private equity play. I mean, it's the same thing that was happening, right, with the Clinton Foundation. You can't pay the money to secure the influence directly, so you do it to a foundation or to a family member. Tony Rodham, may he rest in peace, the cellular phone king of Haiti.
Oh, and when you go, because eventually you will go, everybody has a cell phone. You could be out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no housing, but every single family has a house.
Joe Biden, President Trump is right, maybe not for the reasons he stated in his, various criticisms of Joe Biden, from being a dummy to being low energy to being mentally feeble. But I continue to say this. Most of the pundits we've had on the show disagree with me. Fine, we'll see. Joe Biden is, in fact, the weakest candidate the socialists could nominate against President Trump.
Using cancer to get votes is very slimy, too. Doesn't sit well with me.
You think that's slimy?
Ugh.
He's stealing material from Michael Avenatti.
Oh, that's right.
Creepy porn lawyer, Michael Avenatti. His whole Let's Make America America Again, which he was riffing in Iowa yesterday. Avenatti posted tweets while he's still a free man of him saying precisely the same thing back last fall and cutting videos with that sloganeering and message positioning when he was exploring a run for president. I mean, this is just a circus, isn't it? Oh, for more on these fun topics and a few others, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore. He is noted economist and Wall Street Journal columnist. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Also, the book. I forgot the book. Well, no. Let me promote the book. Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve Moore, thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you for getting that in, Dan,
Yes,
Amy.
yes.
That's the most important thing of all.
Exactly.
By the way, as you guys know, I did CNN I was with Fake News for over years. And I remember so vividly being in the CNN green room waiting to go on. And, of course, who did they have on every night? Who was the savior of the Democratic
Michael
Party?
Avenatti.
The man who was going to be. And the guy, you could just being in the same room with him, the guy was just so sleazy and slimy and disgusting. And I was like, this is a great white hope of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Now he's in the cell that he belongs in. But I want to go back to something, if I may, that you started this conversation by talking about a cure for cancer. and Biden. And I just wrote my column this week on this, that, it's Joe Biden and the liberals and some, Republicans as well, who first of all, they despise the drug companies, right? They hate the drug companies. Big Pharma, they're evil. They're gouging consumers. We have to put price controls. And you put price controls on drug companies, and the evidence is crystal clear. You're going to slow the race to the cure. The new kind of drugs that we want to cure cancer, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, all of these are within our grasp. But if you tell the drug companies, how dare you make a profit off of this, then the money that flows in to find these amazing miracle cures will not happen. And so I just want to get that point across to people that, something like 80% of the wonder drugs over the last 30 years have been developed in the United States of America because we have a free enterprise system that people can invent these things and come up with these cures, and they can make money off of it. You take the money out of it, and guess what? You're not going to have the cures. So take that, Joe Biden.
I wanted to get your take. We haven't talked to you since the deal got done, but I'm sure you're as happy as I am that the imposition of tariffs on Mexico was avoided, and Trump seems to have secured material concessions from the Mexican government to act substantively to prevent migrants from making their way to our southern border. It's a big political and, frankly, economic win for the president.
Well, boy, coming from you, Dan.
Well, it is. I don't like taxes.
So, look, I didn't like the idea when it was first announced. You and I and Amy talked about this, and I was very uneasy about it. But I have discovered, having spent the last 3 years or so in or with or around Donald Trump, that the guy does know how to negotiate. I mean, he is a master negotiator. You read his book, The Art of the Deal, and he realizes one thing in negotiations, that anyone, no matter what area of life you're in, when you negotiate, you want to have leverage. And Trump understood the United States has some leverage over Mexico. They are totally dependent on being able to sell things in the United States. And as soon as he threatened them with the tariff, boy, did they become cooperative on the border. Now, do I love the idea of using tariffs as a club every time we have a tiff with some country around the world? No, that strategy does scare me. So I'll go to that, Dan.
All right. Well, what about now? It worked with Mexico. How can we make it work with China? Come on, Stephen Moore.
Well, Amy, that is the $64 billion question, isn't it? Can this strategy work with China? I believe in the end it will. But, China is not Mexico. I mean, China is the second largest economy in the world. They are a totalitarian government. And so, if these terrorists throw a lot of their workers into the unemployment lines, I'm not so sure the leaders in Beijing care much. I mean, I was just reading the other day about how Mao, starved to death 50 million of his own people. So you've got autocratic leaders, and they don't mind causing misery to their own people. So it's a risky strategy. In the end, I still think Trump will prevail, because China needs to have access to America's markets for their wonder economic machine to grow.
Well, Trump said yesterday before jetting off to Iowa that he's holding up the China deal, that we're going to do a great deal or we're going to do no deal at all, and that he's holding it up. How did you interpret that? He's holding it up because we don't have a good enough deal yet, or there's something specific? Yeah. How do you view that?
I saw that statement too. And I was trying to figure out exactly what he's talking about. And I think, having talked to Trump about this, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a real problem in negotiating with China, because especially the Beijing leaders, they don't have Western ethics towards keeping your word or right of contract or anything like that. So the Chinese, I mean, I've talked to our negotiators. One day they'll agree to one thing, and the next day they'll do just the opposite. They won't even in the negotiations, they won't even admit that they're stealing our intellectual property. They deny that it's happening. We know that it's happening to the tune of about $300 billion a year. So it's very difficult to negotiate with a criminal. And somebody who's so many of their trade practices now are complete violations of the World Trade Organization and what they signed up for. So I think that's what Trump meant, is like, it's one thing for China to say, oh, we'll do A, B, and C. It's another to have some kind of enforcement mechanism to make sure they do it. And that's, I understand, from my sources, that's where the whole negotiations broke down, is China didn't want any kind of validation or verification. And I go back to Ronald Reagan, trust but verify. You have to have verification that these, and by the way, I said it last week, and I say it again, we got to call them Red China, because they're right back to their totalitarian ways in China with respect to, and nobody in the media talks about there's no freedom of press over there. There's no freedom of speech. There's religious persecution. They're throwing any political dissidents in prison. Why don't we read about that in the American press?
Right, and we got 1 million people in Hong Kong rioting against the government, right, at present over this extradition law, and good for them for doing so. He is Steve.
We were always hoping, that Hong Kong would take over China.
Yeah.
And now it looks like China's taking over Hong Kong. I mean, no, this is the new. I really think that with each passing day, Americans are starting to understand this is a new Cold War we're in with China. They're out of control.
He is Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist. The book, Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Okay, go Cubs. See you guys.
Okay, all right. And go White Sox. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
You guys have a great product, and I tell my friends about it. And I was actually talking to a guy the other day who I just met, and he takes them. So you put out a great product, and I want to thank you and your organization.
I just started using it, and my family's already seeing the difference. And I have health issues. I have fibromyalgia, asthma, but all of a sudden everything's clearing up, and I'm feeling better, and my skin's better. My brother said I look 10 years younger already.
Wow. Okay.
My vision is clear. I already see the difference. People are seeing the difference, and my doctor's seeing the difference.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Hey, looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Chuck, Marine veteran, has heard thousands of Team Hochberg's ads, so naturally he called them with his VA mortgage questions. Oh, no, he didn't. Chuck first contacted another radio lender who blew him off after learning he was credit challenged. So Chuck contacted Team Hochberg, which he should have done in the first place. Team Hochberg introduced Chuck to their credit card expert, Gary Novell, who will help Chuck enhance his credit so Team Hochberg can help him secure a VA loan. Best part, Team Hochberg will issue Chuck a closing cost credit to offset the investment he made in himself to enhance his credit. Now, if you're a veteran and would like to work with a trusted local lender who respects your service and won't blow you off if you're credit challenged, then call Team Hochberg now, 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019, NMLS 1124061.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Hey, our good friend Mike Lindell, you know, the pillow guy, the My Pillow guy, you see him on TV. He's authorized us to make the best offer ever on radio. For a limited time, get only 2 My Pillows, or 2-pack of My Pillows, for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow. Again, that's the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. Now, if you've procrastinated and don't own a MyPillow yet, or already know why this is the pillow everybody wants and loves because you have one, then here's the best offer ever. Oh, and by the way, you can still get 30% off pet beds. I love those. Those mattress toppers are great. And my favorite, though, the Giza cotton sheets. No need to go to a department store to look for that fine Egyptian cotton. Go to MyPillow.com. There's many colors, different sizes, and they're soft. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever for 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Amy or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Or MyPillow.com. Either way, use the promo code Amy.
Have you been denied credit? Are you paying high interest rates because of a low credit score? Join the thousands of people who've relied on CreditRepair.com to help rebuild their credit score.
I went to get my first car. I had to get a used car, high interest, and so I knew that things were done from there.
For over 15 years, we've helped thousands with their search for solutions to credit issues. We communicate with you, your creditors, and the credit bureaus with a unique approach designed to remove items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, liens, bankruptcy, and foreclosures that are unfair or inaccurate.
And I've gone up 40 points already.
There are many services offering to tell you your credit score and even monitor it for you. But what good is just knowing your credit score when what you really need is to fix it? Credit Repair members see a significant improvement in their credit scores month after month. Call now to get your no-obligation credit consultation, including your free credit score and free summary credit report. Don't delay. Call 800-859-0720. That's 800-859-0720. 800-859-0720.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's time for a Science Corner. Thanks to researchers at the University of Utah.
Oh, should I sit this out because it's science?
No, please. No, sure. It's all STEM all the time with you. University of Utah designed to show how natural selection can cause new species to form.
Yes.
And one of the things they've done, what they've accomplished, is they have filmed lice having sex. And that's their preferred tune, by the way. Some
Lice
people like
having
Barry
sex.
White. Some people. The biologists split a selection of parasitic feather lice, which, ironically, was the name of my college garage band. We were a Slayer tribute band. Parasitic feather lice, those were the days.
You guys were good.
Two groups placed them onto two different pigeons, one large, one small. 60 generations of lice later, the scientists had two groups of lice, one oversized and one undersized. The evolutionary development led to the male lice's failure to perform. They physically could not mate with the females, who now dwarfed them in size.
So that's what they're doing up there?
I see a lot of that at Comiskey Park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of it, like, my
that's
son had
evidence
lice.
of
We didn't-
ecological speciation.
Okay. I didn't know. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's hard to get out lice. You have to, it's.
Do you want to hear them?
Oh, yeah, please. Oh, yeah, I didn't
All right,
know we had exclusive audio. Aquarium.
No, it's them. That's them having sex. Now, we ran that through a lice to English translation.
Yeah.
And here's what they're actually saying.
Okay.
I really like you. I really like you. There's no chance we can ever be together?
Only if you could promise me you'll never die.
You know I can't promise that.
If you did that, I would make love to you right now.
8 a.m., time for Fox News.
They want to question him again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Donald Trump Jr. going back to Capitol Hill today. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Donald Trump Jr. will field questions during a second closed-door interview with members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Under terms of a deal with Trump Jr., the president's oldest son is expected to spend about 4 hours with the committee, answering questions on a variety of topics, including about a June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower with a Russian lawyer promising damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Trump Jr. is also expected to tell senators what he knew about the president's plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Dave?
Now, John, House Democrats have authorized lawsuits against current or former Trump administration officials to get them to comply with subpoenas.
We have other subpoenas outstanding, including for Hope Hicks and Annie Donaldson. And if they don't show up when they're supposed to, they will be the targets of court enforcement.
Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler probing possible obstruction of justice. The president claims there wasn't any, and it's the Democrats who committed crimes investigating him. He campaigned in Iowa, a state he won.
And we won it by a lot. And we're going to win it again by a lot.
He also again called the Democratic frontrunner, Sleepy Joe Biden, the former VP, also in Iowa, firing back at the president.
I think he's genuinely a threat to our core values. And he's a threat to our standing in the world.
A Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy remains on life support in grave condition the morning after there was an arrest in his Monday night shooting inside a restaurant while Deputy Solano was off duty.
LA County Sheriff's Department, we took custody of the suspect, Rhett McKenzie Nelson, male, white, 30 years of age, from St. George, Utah.
Sheriff Alex Villanueva, they say he called his father to say he committed a murder, and his dad called police, who then tracked Nelson down. Another California sheriff's deputy was shot and wounded last night in Riverside County, responding to a domestic disturbance. Other deputies fired back, killing the gunman. This is Fox News.
Skies are gray. We have 67 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we are following on WIND Chicago. Governor Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. The bill passed the General Assembly, rammed through late by Democrats at the end of May. The bill removes restrictions on both abortions later in pregnancy and criminal penalties for physicians that perform them, and repeals the state's Partial Birth Abortion Ban Act. Federal judge in Chicago says he'll dismiss a lawsuit brought by a parks advocacy group that is trying to stop former President Barack Obama's private presidential center from being built on public lakefront parkland. John Robert Blakely says there should be no delay in building the $500 million center. Aaron Adams of Southside Neighbors for Hope agrees.
It's been a waste of our taxpayers' dollars. It's delayed construction. It's delayed jobs for our community members. And it's delayed our kids being able to get into the park and use the facilities.
Protect Our Parks argued the city illegally transferred land for the park to the private entity. An attorney for the parks organization says they plan an appeal. A fan who was hit by a foul ball during the White Sox Nationals game Monday night is out of the hospital. The woman hit in the bottom of the fourth inning when Sox left fielder Eloy Jimenez fouled a ball down the left field line. Now, Guaranteed Rate Field is one of the few parks in Major League Baseball that has protective netting that extends beyond the dugout. Sox power passed the Nationals last night, 7-5. Rockies smashed the Cubs 10-3 in Denver. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, China's Huawei Technologies has canceled a new laptop. The Wall Street Journal says it's blaming restrictions on buying U.S. components. Huawei uses Microsoft's Windows operating system and Intel's chips for its PC business. Boeing is revealing the impact on its business from the grounding of the 737 MAX planes. The company says it delivered 30 commercial jets in May, down from 68 in May of last year. A year ago, it delivered 47 of its 737 jets. But last month it delivered just 8 of the planes, and they were of an older model 737 called the NG. Canada's Neptune Wellness Solution shares are rallying after revealing a 3-year deal with Green Organic Dutchman Holdings. It will create organic cannabis products. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
That's what this radio show is. I tell you what I think, period.
The Joe Walsh Show.
And then you call in and you tell me what you think. And we don't have to fight with each other. We don't have to hurl insults at each other. We'll agree sometimes. We'll disagree sometimes. Big deal. To me, that makes for the most interesting radio. I'm going to tell you what I think, honestly. And I want you to do the same.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights, starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lawn lovers, run with us on a John Deere Z500 Series Z-Track mower. Built to mow better, faster with an Excel Deep Mower Deck. Because whether you're up against the clock or a busy day, this zero turn gets it done in almost no time at all. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Test drive a Z500 Series Z-Track mower at your John Deere dealer during the Take Your Turn sales event.
What if you had your own personal recruiter to help you find a better job? And they would say, hey, I found a company that likes your profile and may even pay you more. Well, now ZipRecruiter's technology can do that for you. Just download the free ZipRecruiter job search app, customize your job matches, and its technology does the work. It puts your profile in front of potential employers. And if they like your profile, ZipRecruiter lets you know. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated job search app. So download the free ZipRecruiter app today.
8:07 on AM 560. Our 8 a.m. look at Fox Business, as always, is a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Let's get a look at the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
The outbound 8 is heavy from Montrose most of the way to Willow. It's 32 minutes to Lake Cook, inbound 21. Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 33 from Montrose, 35 on the Express. Eisenhower, 51 minutes, 390 to downtown. 33 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 33 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57, 31 minutes, siding to the merge. Bishop Ford, 40. Tri-State southbound. It's tight traffic, 21 to Deerfield. Northbound, bumper to bumper, southwest highway up most of the way to Irving Park. But Adams Tollway at Stop and Go bus to Lee. The Reagan Tollway delays are from 31 to Eola at 83 to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, not as warm. A couple of showers, thunderstorm around, high 72. Clouds and showers tonight, low 52. Cloudy tomorrow morning, sun by afternoon, breezy day. High tomorrow at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
68 at O'Hare, next news 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, with University of Illinois being at the forefront of adopting the the new and improved, in quotation marks, Adversity SAT. Let's talk a little bit about higher education. A piece by economics professor at George Mason University, John V.C. Nye, Reason Magazine, reason.com. Those who are less academically qualified should not, because of some essay they wrote for a specialized pool of admissions officers, buoyed by a donation from their parents, be granted to a top school over a middle or lower class child so naive as to think that strong test scores and grades would be enough. Outside the United States, such a system would be rightly filed under corruption and malfeasance, with or without the addition of phony claims to athletic prowess. That's the admissions scandal, but is the admissions scandal just an opportunity for us to get past talking about Lori Loughlin's YouTube influencer daughter and on to more structural problems with college admissions, in addition to what's actually happening on college campuses when it comes to scholarship and the assignment of grades? For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid professor, John Nye, professor of economic history and new institutional economics at George Mason University, and the holder of the Frederick Bastiat Chair in Political Economy at the Mercatus Center. Professor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So one of the points that you make, in addition to that passage that I read from your piece, you started out by really focusing on grade inflation and why that is so damaging to the quality of the students that are coming out of our universities and scholarship generally. Why don't you develop that a bit?
Well, I mean, the simple thing is, why do we have grades? Grades are there to give information to the student and to the professor about what they've learned. Grade inflation basically damages that. Moreover, you not only do not know correctly who is doing well and who is not, but you are not able to properly rank people. As I've said before, if you simply remove all grades, imagine if every single course were not even pass-fail. There's just no grades. What kind of information would we have? What feedback would we have about who's done well and who's not? Grade inflation is just a slightly improved version of not giving any grades at all. Even worse, grade inflation that differs across fields. For example, if engineering is much tougher than, say, another subject, then that happens. It means that the grades mean different things depending upon what subject you take.
And you write that average GPAs have risen by a full point or more, depending on the discipline, since the late 60s. And so how does that translate into sort of the signaling that is provided the outside world with respect to college graduates they're looking to possibly employ?
Well, it used to mean a lot more to say someone was a college graduate to begin with, regardless of which college they went to, because it was simply harder to graduate from college. I mean, that's just the truth. More people get into more colleges today, and yet I would argue that the standard of, if you like, the worst college graduate, which is what I like to measure, seems to be much lower than it was before. And that's just in terms of ability to write well, to make an argument clearly, and to do certain types of college-level math. Those things have declined. But what's worse, even elite colleges have changed the requirements. Most elite colleges, 60, 70, 100 years ago, used to have core curricula. There were courses everyone had to take. For the most part, that's gone by the wayside. Even most so-called core curricula give you a menu. You have a choice of classes. And this means that it's very hard to compare people even at the same university.
Well, what do you think, too? But there's a lot of discretion between professors. Say if you have to write an essay, I mean, that's always hard to, determine who should get an A, who should get a B, who should get a C, because a different professor with the same rhetoric might give them a different grade.
Absolutely. And that has always been a problem. But all this doesn't change that problem. It makes it much worse. Because the problem is that, for example, it's well known that the humanities have higher average grades than the engineering, physics, math, and technical subjects with a lot of math, like a lot of economics classes and a lot of technical subjects. So that is just well known. This has been well studied at places like University of Michigan or Wisconsin or places like that. So one of the things that does is think about the problem. The problem is the following. Imagine that you're a pretty good student, and in the old days, you would have gotten a respectable C in a very tough engineering program. But on the other hand, let's say you would get an A in a subject, rather than insult anyone, let's just call it the easy A subject, an easy A major, where everyone gets an A just for showing up and breathing. The problem you get is that if employers know it's an easy A subject, the A doesn't mean very much. The problem, however, is not just the A. The problem is the C still means something, and so employers don't take that into account. There are a lot of jobs where they say, well, you've got to have the B average to get this job. Well, if you have a C average from a really tough engineering program, you're out of luck. If you have an A average, it doesn't help you much, but it doesn't hurt you either. So that tends to push people out of the demanding subjects into the easier ones.
Well, sure.
So it not only hurts the signal, it hurts those who want to get into tougher areas.
Sure, and the great inflation going on in colleges is just sort of a version of the great inflation that colleges are being provided themselves when it comes to the coveted rankings and so forth. You make the point that college rankings penalize schools with lower graduation rates that are tougher, more rigorous, thus lower graduation rates. So the system harms the more rigorous schools, suggesting that they're not as good. It's sort of upside down, but that's sort of great inflation for the colleges themselves, and then they just pass that down the line.
Correct. Moreover, as I've emphasized, the people most hurt are the hardworking, poorer kids who have no other signals to give. A rich kid who otherwise would still do well in the world, even if he or she got C's or D's in their classes, because they have other connections that help them through, they're not as harmed by it. In fact, they're helped by it because they can look good. In contrast, the poor kid who doesn't expend expensive extracurriculars so he or she can fly to India or South America to do work, he or she has nothing except grades to show from it, how are you going to show you're any good?
Yeah, and well, sure. And also the perverse incentives. And you give this example of the California Institute of Technology, Caltech, and the engineering students that shying away from Caltech to go to schools that have sort of the same prestige but are easier, because why risk doing something that's more challenging to me when I can get the prestige I'm looking for going somewhere else that engages in great inflation and other sort of path of least resistance policies?
I can tell you an even more specific story. I had a schoolmate, I won't even mention names, but I had a schoolmate who worked for Nobel Prize winners in medicine, had top MCAT scores, medical school, but because she was at Caltech, she had something like a B- average, which is sort of above the average of people coming in or something in that time. She was rejected, I think, by something like 29 out of 30 med schools she applied to.
I mean,
really?
Well, and here's the thing,
yes.
too. And your colleague at George Mason, one of your colleagues, I thought framed this nice in response to Chris Arnotti's book and some other things about, like you said, who is harmed the most by these sort of sentimentalist policies in academia and everywhere else, but let's focus on academia. And he just asked a simple question. I'm talking about Tyler Cohen. He just asked a simple question. Which is more condescending to the poor, to the disadvantaged? Is it more condescending to apply lower standards or to apply higher standards? Or equal standards, essentially. Is it to treat them as incapable, or is it to treat them capable and thus hold them to a standard of excellence? And I thought that's a great way to put it, because everybody's instinct is to say, well, let's give somebody, thus the adversity SAT, let's give somebody who came from a rough neighborhood a break. We're going to relax the academic standards. Let's give somebody who just had a mom at home a break, but we're going to relax the academic standards. Is that more condescending than saying, hey, boy, you want to get into this state school, and you want to be in the engineering program, then these are the standards, and we'll try and help you meet them, perhaps, but you got to meet these standards like anybody else, and it's the same thing for the rich kids that try to buy their way in. Which is more condescending? I think that's a great way to look at it.
I always remind people how hard it used to be to graduate. If you ever saw the movie Citizen Kane, There's the great line where they talked about Citizen Kane, and he said, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Cornell, Switzerland. He was he was rejected. He failed all these schools. In other words, he was like a rich kid. He got into all the top schools, but he failed all of them. And, this was like, in the old days, that meant that even if you bought your way in, there was no guarantee you'd graduate.
Right, and so and this is another important point you make. I'm glad you mentioned the Citizen Kane example, because this is the other thing going on. So you get in, you can't do the work at that level, and then so you just transfer into a less rigorous major, and you get out. You may be at the bottom of the class, but you still get out with that credential, which is all you really wanted. So who does that serve? It doesn't serve the student. It doesn't serve the school. It just sort of serves the complex, right?
Mm-hmm. And to anticipate a problem that often comes up here, I'm not saying that grades are everything. So sometimes there are extracurriculars that really do make a difference. For example, I would say that if but it really makes a difference at the margin. Imagine there are two kids. One kid who's from a high school who's got straight A's and he's good test scores, but he doesn't do athletics. And the other one has the same classes, the same test scores, and straight A's, and is captain of the basketball team. Well, that person clearly needs an extra boost because there is extra effort to managing a team. But to say that there's an extra benefit to being, say, a very good sports person, or to being a good manager, or a good writer, or being a good musician, in addition to being a scholar, is very different from saying we should accept athletes whose test scores are 300 or 400 points below the median of that school.
He is Professor John V.C. Nye, Professor of Economic History and New Institutional Economics at George Mason University. The piece at Reason.com, which I'll tweet out at Dan Proft. Make schools hard again. Professor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Goodbye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It was a brutally cold, harsh winter. Pothole season is bad. Guess what? Your commercial building parking lot took a beating too. Take care of it now to prevent further damage. Time to get a great parking lot. Great Parking Lots, a local company with decades of great parking lots for Chicagoland. Get a quote.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great.
Commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. Get a great parking lot. They use a special process that not only works well, but lasts longer. It's a great investment for your business or for your commercial building to have a great parking lot. It's the first impression for everyone in the building and people visiting the building. And you can do business with a company that shares your values.
I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out. GreatParkingLots.com.
GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
5 foursome. That's all we have left for our upcoming golf outing at Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. It's coming up in less than 2 weeks on Monday, June 24th, and we're doing it all to benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties, as they provide educational and financial support to the families of first responders. We've been talking about them all day, and they need our help. So to purchase one of the remaining foursomes for our 2 p.m. shotgun start, call 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. You'll enjoy a lunch buffet and a dinner buffet, along with a silent auction and an afternoon of golf. Anyone can join us for a great day of golf, but if you are a business owner or make marketing decisions for your company, we want you to become a business benefactor. You purchase a foursome for $1,196, and you'll get 25 one-minute commercials to promote your business that will air right here on AM 560 Monday through Friday. Folks, it's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196, and a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 Club. So it's a win-win. Call today to reserve your foursome. Time is running out. 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. I needed to take a minute just to brag on our almost 200 amazing employees. In 2009, we changed our tagline to, "We can grow any business in any industry at any time." The world trusted us and helped us become a 5-time Inc. 5000 honoree. Our 200 employees have done 2 major things at the same time. We manage 1,800 money-making websites and over 260 e-commerce sites for our client partners across the globe. 34% of Americans visited one of these assets last year. But at the same time, these amazing employees have stopped their life every single week and recorded videos and podcasts of exactly how we grow these digital assets. If you're looking to figure out how we do it, just go to door number 1. It's free. You can study thousands of hours of material on how to grow your business. If you have money but no time, go to door number 2. It's a bit pricey, but our managed services are absolutely incredible. You got to check out IncomeStore.com. Our 200 employees are absolutely amazing.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
When I wasn't taking it and I was waiting for my operation, I was feeling very tired. Now I'm driving like 11, 12 hours a day. I told you I manage 15 gas stations. And I have so much energy. I even gave some of my pills for my son, and he said, Dad, this is good, so I like it. I'm healing so fast. It's like amazing. My family is so surprised because my wound like closing up and doing so good. So that is working now that I'm start taking my those fruits and vegetables.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Lee Daniels, the producer of Empire.
Yeah, well, what's it today, Dan?
Given
is he in? Is he out? What's going on?
He's out. Smollett's gone. He gave an extended interview at Vulture.com. He was asked about Smollett's hoax,
I'm
of
sure
course.
that's all he's asked about.
No.
Oh,
no.
he's not?
That's much. It's wide-ranging.
I heard your stomach growl, by the way.
He reports that Daniel's response, he goes through Daniel's response the day the case emerged, when Daniels posted an Instagram video saying, quote, "You didn't deserve to have a noose put around your neck, to have bleach thrown on you, to be called die effing N, or whatever they said you." And he's asked if he's embarrassed by the post that he made on social media. Lee Daniels, "I'm beyond embarrassed. I think that when it happened, I had a flash of me running from bullies. I had a flash of my whole life, of my childhood, my youth getting beaten." Lee Daniels is gay, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, since this was supposedly partly a result of
hate
homophobia.
crime,
Right, yeah. Knowing Jesse, would you have suspected this from him, or did this come out of the blue? Came out of the blue. The interviewer suggests it's got to be a huge betrayal. If it turned out he did it, was guilty, and all of it's accurate.
Did he just say if?
If. Still unwilling to concede that it's true.
See, I'd respect him so much more if he just said he lied, he's off the show, he did it. I mean, that he believes that it was a hoax, which it was a hoax, Lee Daniels.
This is so interesting, though, too.
Respect him more.
You want the story to be true. Wait, there's really doubt in your mind that he didn't make the whole thing up, he's asked.
Oy.
When he gives the if answer. There's really doubt? Lee Daniels, of course there's some doubt. I'm telling you that because I love him so much. That's the torture that I'm in right now, because it's literally, if it were to happen to your son and your child, how would you feel? You would feel, please God, please let there be that glimmer of hope that there is some truth in his story. That's why it's been so painful. It was a flood of pain.
Well, I understand being disappointed if you feel that way and feel strongly about a loved one and they're not who you thought they were. And that's Jussie Smollett.
The unwillingness to confront the truth, though. I want to believe the story, so I'm going to cling to the story. You know what? That's another example of this in a completely different realm. I think a documentary I've recommended before, The Inventor, about Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos. Celebrated. She was going to be the next Steve Jobs with this blood testing technology she had. $9 billion market valuation. Fraud.
Oh, I have a story about her.
Total fraud.
My friend ran into her. She was looking for a studio in San Mateo, California, and she pulled up, and she said, can I, because 10 people were there that wanted the studio, and you had to prove that you're not, you don't have any prior arrests. And she said, well, I've had a problem, and I'm probably going to be going to jail soon, but I need a place to live. She's down on her luck. I mean, she has no money. She was vying for a $2,000 a month studio.
Yeah, well,
San Mateo.
not anymore, because she's dating the scion of a billionaire hotelier right now. So
I don't
she's
think he's
still
having
waiting.
her live with her, though.
Well, she's still waiting child, but she's dating a billionaire scion. But the whole point.
But she
Henry Kissinger,
twinkled everybody.
George Shultz on her board,
Mhm.
all of the financial press. They wanted to believe the story because it's a woman in tech, in biotech, and this is so great, and I want to believe the narrative, so I'm going to suspend all my due diligence. I'm not going to run the traps I would normally run.
Yeah, everybody left their guard down because they wanted to be a part of something. And it was a woman, Dan.
And you know who's helping with this? Whitewashing the Jussie Smollett story? Not just Lee Daniels ruminating about his doubts and hopes. Google. Americans who want an accurate understanding of Smollett's MAGA country attack have to work a bit harder thanks to a rule on disparaging stories. The algorithm on the autocomplete predictions, algorithm shields searches that are potentially disparaging or that include sensitive terms. Yeah. The policy of autocomplete predictions does not take into account what results may appear when you do the search, but is specifically about the text and the prediction itself. We have, this is a Google spokesman, we have algorithms that will prevent predictions from appearing if we detect they likely violate any of the policies, and if our systems miss anything and violating predictions are reported, we will remove them. So when this Free Beacon reporter was looking up Jussie Smollett, Washington Free Beacon, he gets autocomplete returns for stories about the LGBT activist's wife's sister and a small part in a 1992 Disney movie, The Mighty Ducks. Yeah.
They're protecting their own.
However, the Free Beacon notes, that algorithm did a less convincing job of protecting Nicholas Sandman, the Covington High School student who was falsely conveyed by many media outlets as behaving in a racist way towards that Native American. All the search suggestions for Sandman are related to the video of him. Huh. So those algorithms have a political disposition, it would seem.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to switch gears and talk about the left's latest gun control gambit with John Lott Jr. at 8:38.
But first, straight into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
68 degrees, skies are gray, rain is on the way. Hong Kong police fired tear gas and rubber bullets at hundreds of thousands of protesters who had massed outside government headquarters today in opposition to a proposed extradition bill that has become a lightning rod for concerns over greater Chinese control and erosion of civil liberties in the territory. The afternoon violence marked a major escalation in the semi-autonomous Chinese city's biggest political crisis in years. The American West sweltering in a record-breaking heat wave, while the rest of the country basks in much cooler than normal temperatures. Triple-digit temps reported from Arizona to Oregon yesterday. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders will defend democratic socialism today. The Vermont senator will deliver a speech at George Washington University. Former VP Joe Biden, stumping in Iowa, says the U.S. can recover from 4 years of President Trump.
We can overcome 4 years of this presidency. It'll go down in history as an aberration. No, I really mean it. I think we can overcome it. A lot of damage has been done. It's going to take a lot of hard work.
The president, however, went after Biden in Iowa, and after speaking at the White House, reacted to Biden's attacks on him.
Well, I heard Biden, who's a loser. I mean, look, Joe never got more than 1%. Except Obama took him off the trash heap, and now it looks like he's failing.
Trump also called Biden at that news conference a dummy. Governor J.B. Pritzker will sign the highly controversial Reproductive Health Act into law this morning. An off-duty Chicago police officer facing charges in a crash that killed a woman sitting inside a Southside restaurant over the weekend is out on bond. And funeral arrangements are set for the suburban Arlington Heights couple who authorities say was stabbed to death by their daughter over the weekend. Visitation for David and Ann Martin is scheduled for Friday. Rockies beat the Cubs in Denver 10-3. Sox power past the Nationals 7-5 at the rate. The News is a service of Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they know a roof can withstand a lot. One exception being an airborne car. Seen it, covered it, talk to Farmers. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher exposes the impeachment strategy of the Democrats.
It kind of hit me. They might just want to hold the prospect of impeachment over his head for as long as they can, trying to do as much damage as they can to his standing. Maybe that's the play.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855 1 Hour.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
If your business depends on a Sprinter or light-duty diesel, you can't afford to have just anyone care for your major investment and important equipment. From a single vehicle to an entire fleet, depend on the experts at Remke's Garage to fix your Sprinter, Duramax, Cummins, or Power Stroke vehicle. Only go to the experts at Remke's Garage. Remke's doesn't just fix problems, they find solutions. Remke's goal is making sure you never lose a dollar of business. That's why owner Joe Remke will customize a maintenance plan specific to your unique vehicle. Remke's Garage specializes in Sprinter and light-duty diesel vehicles. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty on all parts. They'll pick up, deliver, and offer you a loaner vehicle for free. Go to remkesgarage.com to schedule your free maintenance plan consultation. That's REMKES Garage.com. That's Remke's, spelled REMKES Garage.com.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings or 401k last? How much should you take out and when? You may be ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor John Rossini in Bartlett. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Stop in at Stearns and Route 59 or call 630-372-2926. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC, 630-372-2926.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
8:37 in the AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Northbound tri-state traffic is heavy from the Stevenson to Irving Park and Willow to Lake Cook. The Adams and Reagan tollways have cleared up. Northbound Veterans Memorial is stuffed up. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Eden's 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes are heavier than the locals. Eisenhower 51 minutes 390 to downtown. 33 from Manheim. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes 355 to the drive. Ryan is 33 minutes 95 to downtown. I-57 30 minutes 90 to the merge. Bishop Ford 40. You have delays on westbound 8094 and westbound on the Indiana Toll Road as well. It's 12th of June. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, not as warm. Showers and thunderstorms popping up this afternoon and a high of 72. Currently 68. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Small encroachments can lead to big reductions in one's individual liberty, constitutional rights. So I say that in the context of the Supreme Court decision on Monday to not take up a challenge to a federal law that restricts the ownership of gun silencers. The court rejected an appeal that was brought by two Kansas men, the owner of a military surplus store who sold the silencer and the man who bought it. He purchased the silencer to protect his ears, said the customer, because his hearing was damaged during military service. He also said the store owner told him that a silencer made and sold in the same state was not subject to the federal law that requires the devices to be registered. That turned out to be bad advice. Both men arrested, convicted, and they appealed their conviction, saying the federal law violates their Second Amendment rights, Supreme Court declining to take up that appeal. We also have the story out of the Virginia Beach shooting at that municipal complex where the shooter allegedly used a suppressor, silencer.
Silencer. He had two of them, I think, right?
With his during his rampage. And so is this like a bump stock thing? We shouldn't care that much. Federal laws governing, regulating, perhaps even banning silencers, as undoubtedly POTUS candidates on the left will be proposing when they can't go after specific types of weapons because they weren't used in a mass murder like in Virginia Beach. It was sort of standard issue handguns. Can't go after the quote-unquote assault weapons, so you go after accessories.
Well, even President Trump, though, who's been very supportive of gun ownership, did say he promised last week that he'd seriously look at banning suppressors or silencers.
So is that not a big deal? Should we not worry about that? Should we not die on that hill, even if you're a Second Amendment rights proponent? Well, let's put that question to an expert in the space. He is John Lott Jr., president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of a number of books on the topic, including The War on Guns and More Guns, Less Crime. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Good morning. So should we pitch much of a fit over silencers?
Well, I mean, I think there are real safety issues for people using silencers or suppressors. You know, I think people have seen too many TV shows and movies which actually make it look like these make guns silent. You know, when you're talking about a handgun, like the type of handgun that was used in the Virginia Beach attack, a .45 ACP, or other handguns, you're talking about something that's about 160 decibels. That's about that's louder than a jet fighter pilot, or jet fighter at launch. These are very loud sounds there, and if you use a suppressor, they'll lower it by about 30 decibels. But it's hardly silent to have something 130. You're talking about something that's louder than an ambulance siren, or louder than a jackhammer or a riveter. You know, it's louder than a thunderclap. It's about the same sound as the peak stadium noise that you can have.
Well, yeah, because everybody there said that they heard gunshots. I mean, you know, every witness that they interviewed said it was pow, pow, pow. It was so loud. And so why then what's the purpose of the silencers?
Well, my guess is the reason why he had a silencer is if you've ever shot a gun inside a firing range versus outside, unless it has a lot of soundproofing on the wall, you get an echo inside, and it makes it very loud. And you know, it's even much louder, the impact, when you're inside a building than when you're outside. And so my guess is just for his own comfort, he did that. I mean, I assume he probably had earplugs or whatever too, but it would still be very loud. Look.
Yeah, but John, I understand from movies and television shows that the only people who use silencers are assassins. So
right,
yeah.
Well,
spies.
I mean, if people,
bad people.
People go to a firing range, and you're going to be firing lots of bullets. It makes a difference whether it's at 160 decibels or 130 decibels over time.
So when gun control advocates say, as they said with respect to silencers and promotion of their prohibition. The silencers make it harder for this is their argument, make it harder for first responders to pinpoint the source of gunfire, also lead victims to think the sound is coming from farther away than it actually is.
Well, a gun that's being fired inside, even with a silencer, with the echo, is going to be extremely loud. And the police in this case were able to use the sound of the gunfire to locate where the killer is. There's one thing I was really hoping to get into with regard to the Virginia Beach attack, and it's something that the media, national media, has completely missed out on, and that is we've had yet another attack where people were banned from having guns for protection. This Operations Building 2, where the attack occurred, really only had municipal employees there. And Virginia Beach was one of the municipalities that banned concealed carry by its employees. In fact, that morning, one of the employees there and the previous evening had been thinking about bringing her permitted concealed handgun with her to work, but she decided against doing that because it would violate the ordinances that the city had. She had been concerned about this killer in this case, apparently had talked to other employees about it, and nothing had been done, but she was concerned about his behavior and had talked to her husband and apparently others about bringing the gun with her that day, but she obeyed the rules and decided at the last moment not to bring it with her. She was one of the people that was killed in this attack. And it's just, time after time after time, 98% of the mass public shootings since 1950 have taken place in areas like this where the victims are not being allowed to defend themselves. These killers are not stupid. They may be crazy, but they pick places where they know victims can't defend themselves. Not only was the building a gun-free zone, essentially, but this killer used his key card to get into an area where only employees could get into, where he engaged in the attack there.
Yeah.
And that's after he sent an email that he was resigning.
Yeah, and you make the point in your piece at Fox News, and we talked to him about it on this show. Andrew Pollack, somebody who has the standing because, of course, his daughter Meadow was murdered in Parkland. Andrew Pollack, the father of Meadow Pollack, says we need to rescind these gun-free zone designations for exactly the example that you're providing, what the example that Parkland provided, where an officer didn't do his job and the kids were left and the adults were left to try and protect themselves. And that's something that's central to what he's out there promoting.
Right. Look, I mean, the media bias on this is just overwhelming. I mean, the media just refuse, the mainstream media, you cannot find any discussions about the fact that this was yet another gun-free zone. You look at these cases, one after another. They'll go through all sorts of details about the attack. They'll talk about the type of gun used or how the person obtained the gun, facts that they frequently get wrong in the initial reports. The easiest thing often to go and determine in these cases is, did this attack occur in a gun-free zone? But they will refuse to mention it. Over the years, I've talked to a number of news editors at different places, and I've asked them about why they don't report that these attacks keep on occurring in places where people are banned from having guns. And they tell me, well, you got to get to us within the news cycle, within hours of the attack. And so I've done that. And then they tell me, well, it would just be political for us to go and include that in the news stories. So they still refuse to do that. And my guess is, and I think the news people understand this, that the entire gun control debate that we have right now would be very different if if even once in a while they heard that we've had yet another attack where people weren't allowed to have guns. Here you have a killer who is banned from having a gun in this. He's still employed there.
Yeah, right.
He broke the rule. All the other law-abiding people, including this woman, this Katie that died there, who had been thinking about breaking the rule and having her gun with her there, she obeyed it. When it finally came down to it, even though she was concerned about her safety, and the safety of others there, she said, I just can't break this rule, this regulation that makes this a gun-free zone, and she obeyed it.
Well, right. I mean, this just goes to the whole. This is the whole philosophy, the difference in philosophy, the idea, and the magical thinking of the left. The idea is, I'm a law-abiding citizen. Then I purchase a weapon. Now I've become a threat to the peace. Now I'm in danger of not being law-abiding anymore because I bought a gun for self-protection. It is illogical. But all of these arguments are sentimental. They're not based in logic. Thus, we don't really get anywhere, and we have to rely, ideally, on jurists like Antonin Scalia to impose some rationality through interpretation of the Constitution. So the battle, I guess, the intellectual battle continues. John Lott Jr., at the forefront of the intellectual battle, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of a number of books, including The War on Crime, the War on Guns, and More Guns, Less Crime. John Lott Jr., thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. People can find more at our website at crimeresearch.org, but I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Crimeresearch.org. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The 16th century Council of Trent pronounced the first catechism of the Roman Catholic Church. In 1992, St. Pope John Paul II promulgated our current version, an historic achievement, but one with its own novelties and some anomalies. Now, the Pope proposes his own changes to the catechism, changes arguably that cannot be reconciled with Catholic tradition. Can a catechism that can be revised this way still be called a catechism? And if not, then what is it? On June 14th, find out. Join LifeSite News contributor Dr. Peter Korzeniewski at the Catholic Citizens of Illinois Forum Luncheon, speaking on Of What Use is a Changing Catechism? To make your reservation, go to CatholicCitizens.org or call Maureen at 708-352-5834. That's 708-352-5834. Space is limited. Reserve now.
Hey, you probably have an accountant to audit your business financial matters on a regular basis to keep things in order in the money department. That's important. But guess what? It's also important to your company is your computer data. If you lost that, you would be done, out of business. Here's a not so fun fact. 60% of all businesses fail within 6 months when a catastrophic loss of data occurs. So stop playing Russian roulette with your network and data. Turn to the pros at Turnkey IT for a free security audit. In just a few minutes it takes to scan your network and computer systems thoroughly, you'll know if you're open and vulnerable to intrusions and hackers. It's important stuff. So don't wait. Get a free security audit of your computer and network systems from Turnkey. It's normally a $600 service. It's free. Do it to make sure all your bases are covered when it comes to your business technology. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I'm loving my Balance of Nature. Since I started, I have not gotten one cold. I kind of fight everything. I get a little tickle, but it goes away.
It's just amazing the difference I felt. I want you to know how much I appreciate the counseling and so forth and your attention to your people. I have been a pretty big advocate for the balance of nature. I don't know how many truck drivers have asked me, how in the heck do you keep going at 88, 89 years old? I said, balance of nature. If they want to really enjoy some good health, get on balance of nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss, because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently, their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. You'll also see for free why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
Attention, this is a money-making opportunity. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-secured returns up to 18%. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text QUICK to 31000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit. And get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices for big profits. All from home working part-time. Text QUICK to 31000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit. Plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text QUICK to 31000. That's QUICK to 31000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, I know you're a really big soccer fan, a women's soccer fan. We are in the World Cup right now. Do you understand? We played Thailand yesterday and beat them 13-0, and now the world hates us.
13-0.
13-0. All right, 13-zip, whatever. They're saying it was disrespectful, disgraceful, that we were celebrating too much, excessively scoring, not part of the game. No, pound sand. We're America.
Was this
okay?
Hope Solo's fault?
No, it's Hope Solo. What year is this?
Yeah, Hope Solo. She's like she's criticizing the coach. She gets in fights with her family members in driveways.
No, that was a long time ago.
Well, she does. This is still
Right, that's true. But no,
Yeah.
this is just a different team, and they are being paid less than men, by the way. But that's okay. But you know what? Keep on keeping on, and just ignore the noise. All right. I hated that when I coached too, when we were winning 60-0 against 10-year-old girls, and people told me to ease up. I didn't ease up. Gas on the pedal. All right. That's what you do. Death and destruction with a splash of sportsmanship. Now, what was your sever head story?
Yeah, okay. Right there, Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, okay.
It's how I roll, man. I hope my friend Christy Corkery is listening.
Is
Death
that-
and destruction.
That's what
always.
you're teaching your championship volleyball teams as well?
With a splash of sportsmanship, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it takes to win.
So,
But I just hate that they're bashing this American World Cup team. They're
Who's-
very
who-
talented.
who's they?
Oh, the Canadians and the people in Thailand and the Europeans. Let's just go on saying that we were celebrating too much. It's okay to celebrate. That's part of the game, and it just builds up your confidence for the next game. So we're going to take it all. And I'm sure when on Friday, John Cass, when he fills in for me, you guys are going to talk about women's soccer and the World Cup for the entire 4 hours, right?
I can guarantee you we're not going to talk about it at all. And it may be the last time that we ever talk about it in this show.
Well, thank you for my rant. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who is
The president of Hope Solo's fan club.
That's perfect. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
An off-duty Chicago police officer charged in a deadly crash has been released on bond. Family of an elderly woman killed in a CPD-involved crash filing a lawsuit. Chicago woman